Oh, you say Chef started, but what?
No, he started it, but he said he's I guess he's getting the topic together or something. He just went
Oh,
live.
that was a good ass that was a good ass video he put in there.
Yeah, I need to check it out. What it said?
He got that shit live. I think we live now. No, I was just talking about this
We
guy.
live, y'all. We live.
Yeah, that was a good video you put in there though, Chef. Excellent video.
What it was talking about?
Nah, he was just saying how he put the board around Nigeria. He said that's like putting some strings around some people. So then when you say you from Nigeria, yo, wait a minute, yo. You just stringed a couple people. What about the other people? So he was saying it's too much. You got ethnic groups, you got groups within Nigeria. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Egypt shit. People don't know you got like 32 nomes, yo. Like you got different groups within. You got different groups within Egypt. Different religion. Like it's crazy. It's not. I don't know. I ain't talking about that shit no more. That's what I'm not doing. No freezing up on it. But that was a good video, yo. Excellent video right there. Yeah. What's the topic though?
Yeah, he must have stepped away again. It was like this. Hold on. Addressing the elephants in the community. That's what he got on there. Shit, let me go to there. I got me walking in with groceries, man. Hold on, let me see when to put it in. East Yolanda, what's happening with you? See you in the building. About to get this thing cranked up. One more again.
Where you on that?
Yolanda in the chat.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You can't fight together, yo. You be mixing up my blows. You be catching blows. I be trying to just out.
We live, y'all. We live. What's happening?
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I can't fight with Yolanda no more, yo. She be messing me all up, yo. I have a nigga in a trap. She open up the trap door. Take him away from the trap door, the whole 9 yards.
I had to put my dinner together.
I'm wrong with that.
So what's going on? What's up?
No, I was saying that was an excellent video. Excellent.
Oh, the one I sent?
Excellent video, yo. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I was ever trying to say about anything. That's all I was ever trying to say, Chef. I don't know what you got out of the video. That's all I was trying to say, yo. I wasn't trying to say nothing more than that, yo. And that brother did an excellent job, yo.
Here's pseudo.
Wow. Well, I'm a pseudo too, then if that's the case.
I'm saying, what was he saying? What was he saying?
He was just talking about.
You ain't watch it yet?
Nah, I ain't get a chance.
Yeah, you missed it. He simply said that somebody named Victoria something, came in and named Nigeria, and they put a string around a couple tribes and say, "Oh, y'all Nigerian." That's what I was saying.
He just put a string on them and said they was Nigerian now.
No, you don't get it, yo. Listen, they wasn't this shit you looking at now, yo. The borders, Europeans made those borders, yo.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about, yo, hold on, let me come in your house, right, and start lining shit off. You're like, wait a minute, yo.
Right, like check. This your spot right here. now you and your brother share a room. And like, no, I got my own room. Like,
Oh, yeah,
no,
they
now
trip.
you and your brother share a room. And
Yeah,
then 1/3 of y'all room belong to your sister. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yo, like who the fuck is you? How can you do that?
Yeah,
So what
that's
he's
it.
saying is they mashed a whole bunch of people up together that didn't belong together. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like these people
Right,
got
right.
they different ethnically. So now they belong to one nation. So that's why you see all these civil wars and shit in Africa and all these, you know what I mean, problems. Because people who generally lived apart from each other are now mashed together into one political body. That shit is gonna cause strife. You dig what I'm saying? Because now say you got 13 different ethnic groups, right? Now, all of them feel like they deserve a certain amount of resources from the government. Now, the government got to allocate those resources to those people. Now, say if it's 13 different ethnic groups, right? And say one ethnic group get the majority in the parliament. Now, the other ethnic groups is going to feel like, yo, we not getting what we deserve because, you know, 1/3 of the parliament is the such and such ethnic group. You feel me? And they making sure all their people get all of this shit. You feel me? Like we poor because the such and such, and it's gonna causes too much conflict, yo. When those people generally live in their own areas and they just traded with each other. You feel me? And if they had a beef, they had a local war, but it didn't go no further than that. But now, since they all in one country, now you're gonna have all kind of issues. It's fucked up. You know what I mean? With the I will say that it's fucked up what the Europeans did. You feel me? But the biggest problem is when those African countries started to get in the 50s when they had the African Revolution, when these people started to shake off their colonial powers, they didn't know how to set their shit back to their original boundaries. So they kept the European boundaries. So that's a part of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they left the colonial languages in place too.
Exactly. They didn't throw off colonialism all the way. That's why it was called neo-colonialism after that. They even kept
explain that. That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah, they even kept the financial system, right, of their previous colonial powers, right? And they borrowed from the colonial powers banks. So in that turn, whoever funding you is really still colonize you if you're still getting your money and resources and shit from those people. So now you under neo-colonialism. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're Sean saying we don't know what we talking about. You feel me?
You say
we don't know
what?
how to explain Africa.
Yeah, we can explain that shit. And another, I think another point. Let me give y'all kind of. Let me give you how humans do. So I'm born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, right? I have two sons, okay, by a woman that lived in Washington, D.C. I moved down south, okay? Generally speaking, people up north, you know what I'm saying, tend to be a little more lighter than people down south, right? Florida, you know what I'm saying, Georgia, right? They seem they be a little more dark. I moved down to Georgia, right? Meet a woman, right? Get married, have kids, right? But the kids, she gave birth to the kids in Mississippi, right? This is what I'm saying now. By way of California. So what do you call my kids? Is they Maryland, Georgian, Mississippians? What would you do? That's what humans do. They move, they meet people, they have kids. It's not the simple thing that you want it to be. Nothing about this picture of human migration is just that simple because people move, they have babies, then they move, and then to allow Europeans to come back later on and put all that together, yo, you asking for a lot. Like I understand what archaeology is and how hard that is. That's like somebody coming from somewhere 1,000 years later and get half a Coke can and think it's something else, a damn ashtray. No, nigga, it's a Coke can. It ain't an ashtray with a symbol on it. So watch this. When you look at the Narmer palette, do y'all know what the Narmer palette is? It's a goddamn going for makeup. Most people don't even know that. It's dude, somebody was in their house putting makeup on out of that. They had no idea that later on you was gonna judge the whole history of Egypt on the makeup palette.
Wow.
They were bleaching.
Look that shit up.
Yo, you just fucked me up with that.
Yeah. The Narmer palette is a makeup.
You know how much significance we put on that item right there?
Yep.
And it was just a makeup palette. That shit could have been pure propaganda.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Damn.
It's a makeup palette, yo.
You just fucked me up with that.
You ain't know it was a makeup palette, yo.
No, now I'm a palette. I thought that shit was a big ass relief somewhere.
Oh no.
Damn.
Hell to the no.
Now tell them the significance of the Narmer palette and what historians then grafted from just a makeup palette. We don't even we can't even imagine how much they done read into that and how much shit they done got wrong just by making shit up off of that
they
fucking.
Read the glyphs.
Yeah, but
they read the glyphs on it. Let me see, Narmer. Hold on.
Go ahead.
They read the glyphs on it, and it's when the two lands unify, right? So let me see. Narmer palette, also known as the Great Heliopolis Plate. All right, not Heliopolis, but Heracleopolis palette or palette of Narmer is a significant Egyptian archaeological find dating to about 31st century BCE, belonging at least normally to the category of cosmetic palettes. It contains some of the earliest hieroglyphic inscriptions ever found. They say the tablet is thought by some to depict the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. And they say thought by some. Okay. On one side, the king depict with what's this bulbed white crown of Upper Southern Egypt, and the other side depicts the king wearing a level red crown of Lower Northern Egypt. They say along with the scorpion mace head and Narmer mace head, also found together in the main deposit at Nekin. The Narmer palette provides one of the earliest known depictions of an Egyptian king. The palette shows many classical conventions of ancient Egyptian art, which must already have been formalized by the time of the palace creation. Cosmetic palettes. Cosmetic palettes are archaeological artifacts originally used in pre-dynastic Egyptian to grind and apply ingredients for facial or body cosmetics.
Wow.
They say the decorative palettes of the 4th millennium BCE appear to have lost its function and became a commemorative, which is let me see. I can't even say the word. Ornamental and possibly ceremonial. Man, like an ornament. Ornamental. That's it. Ornamental. And possibly ceremonial. They were made almost exclusively out of siltstone, with a few exceptions. The siltstone orientated from quarries in Wadi Hamad Yeah, I know what Wadi I'm mad at too. Down in the Thebes somewhere. Yeah, many of the palaces were found in Herculopolis, a century of power in pre-dynastic Egypt. After unification of the country, the palace ceased to be included in tomb assemblages. Yeah, that's what it is. They make up joints, yo. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting right there, yo. That's completely interesting right there. Yep. So now there you have it.
You see down at the scholarly debate. Oh,
yeah. What does the scholarly debate say? You gonna read it? Go ahead.
Yeah, it says the pilot has raised. Yeah, it says the pilot has raised considerable scholarly debate over the years. In general, the arguments fall into one of two camps: scholars who believe that the pilot is a record of an important event, and other academics who argue that it is an object designed to establish the mythology of united rule over Upper and Lower Egypt by the king. Mm-hmm. It had been thought that the pilot either depicted the unification of Lower Egypt by the king of Upper Egypt or recorded a recent military success over the Libyans. And then they go on to say some more stuff, but that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. Like now, once he said that shit was a makeup palette, I said, oh, like okay, now I got a question. It wasn't even a serious Egyptian document. You feel me? It was a makeup palette. And we done told the whole history of the people off of a makeup palette. Damn.
I didn't know there was an argument against that being not the unification.
Yeah, once he said it was a makeup palette, I said, now I got a question about this shit.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I know it was a makeup palette.
Yeah, I thought it was like a document, like
right.
What?
Actually, I thought it was like a big document that just like it had piece of. You know what I'm
saying? Exactly.
Oh man.
Nope. You just ruined Egypt for me.
Yeah. I took it down like a constitution.
Yeah, you should have kept that to yourself.
Yeah.
No, what I really wanted to show is that you get people coming in interpreting culture, yo, and that's the hardest thing to do.
Right.
And like that Medu Neter debate, the Medu Neter debate was crazy because they were saying the Medu Neter wasn't deciphered, right? That's ignorance. Using the term decipherment is ignorant because they actually did decipher it. The argument should have been, well, the translation is right. Are you catching the hardest thing to do in any language is to get its cultural context. So like if I'm saying shorty fine as a motherfucker, yo, look them shoes she got on fly. Now, if you don't understand the culture and the time, right, you'll think I'm saying she's flying some damn where, right? You'll think fine. What you mean fine like white? Like what? Like what do you mean? Like you wouldn't understand the conversation, and you could just mess that up 1,000 years later. And they put their European culture on that, right? So this is the argument sometimes. So when you seeing something, you see flags, and the word is Necha. What is they saying? Why would they represent a flag, right, as a god, right? Okay, you look at Wallace E. Birds. Hold on.
This nigga said it was a makeup palette, yo.
Yeah,
cosmetics.
Yeah. So my point is, Wallace E. Birds, he tell you in his book, the Book of the Dead, right? And you look at the Netches. What do it mean? He was like, the word is so old, they don't really know what it means. But as a Christian, he applies his philosophical stance on what he said it was, right? Like, but they showing you like 3 damn flags. Some say it was, I remember early on, I used to say it was axes, right? Then I get corrected, they say it's flags, right? Then you hear people say it was where you would mark boundaries and resources. What the fuck that got to do with God? Based off of Wild These Birds being a Christian. Like, what was he, what was they saying? Was they saying the essentialness of resources? Right, but you would have to know the culture. And now, if you don't know the culture, and then your mind already you saying that black people ain't shit. So you already got the black people ain't shit in your head. Like that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, even Darwin, right? He called them. What's the word you don't like Darwin use all the time, Chef?
What, race?
No, savages.
Oh yeah, savage races.
Right? Yeah, savage races. Right? Darwin saying they savage races. You got to argue for an hour and a half to defend some crazy white motherfucker because of what he came up with about savage races. What he was meaning. I don't even want to get into that. But anyway, so they not saying you looking at no. We're enslaving these people. No. They ain't built Egypt. Not that. They don't have an idea of a cultural context of what people in Africa do. They don't understand that you have clans. You got clans and areas of clans, and these clans later on become Egypt. It don't start out that way. Me and what's the joint? Me and Sosa watch a whole thing before what's called Japan Japan wasn't unified like that. They had different clans. I can name them for you: the ninjas, samurais. What's the other ones? Sosa.
Shaolin niggas.
Shaolin niggas. Them niggas wasn't unified. They was murdering each other. So imagine me, you, Chef, Junana, we ride over that motherfucker and border that shit up for them. And we put a nigga that hate each other in the same thing. That's y'all shit. You're like, huh? I hate these niggas. Imagine that. So white people came and figured out Egypt for everybody. Okay, they made it real neat. What I understand about Egypt, you could have a Nubian ruler. Of course, nobody is called Nubian. They gave them that fucking name. Yes, I'm gonna tell you a name. They wasn't even Nubians, and they classified everybody to the south Nubians. No matter what clan and tribe, they was different clans with different standards, the whole 9 yards. But they made all them Nubians. Let's not forget that part. Let's not forget the part about now we're gonna name it this and name it that and put that here and put that there. You got Nubian rulers, you got Libyan rulers, you got Asiatic rulers, and all the niggas how about they ruling all of Egypt, right? Okay, so now you got about 6, 7 kings ruling at one time. Get that straight, and then certain time periods, one king would unify the whole thing. So here's the question: Europeans come in and make it real neat and even, yo. They make the whole the situation never was that. Destruction of black civilization, yo, give you that work for real. He explains how, yo, you had vassal rulers that could be misconstrued as the leaders of all. Like, it wasn't the pretty picture. Now let's talk about the ceremonial shit. Niggas actually think Egyptians ran around with wigs on their head, right? Watch this. You walk around with a wig on your head all day long in a hot ass sun. That didn't happen, right? You walking around with paint on your face all day long. That didn't happen. You walking around looking perfect with the crown. That didn't happen. They was living in grass huts like everybody. You think because they built pyramids that they was living in fucking stone houses, right? With motherfucking running water. Yeah, that's a perception we all have. That's like people come 2,000-3,000 years later, right? Get a picture of Donald Trump and think everybody ran around America with suits on. That's how we looking at this shit. The Egyptians show a group of captives from the south. They don't call them Nubians because that ain't what the word is. They got these niggas bun, right? They got they bottom piece on. That's like no shirt on shit. But that's how everybody ran around with no shirt on. But the Egyptians always show themselves fly. Do you really think that the Hollywood movies, the Egyptians always running around that? No, they was in huts, villages, farmers, dog. We got it all.
Running around with their drawers on.
With their drawers on, basically, yo. But
no
they only show
on.
the Nubians like that, though. Think about they not called. Let me get that out the way. They not Nubians, yo, but they show bond captives, yo. But that's how everybody walked around like that. Yo, that wasn't the order of day. The culture is the basic people. You know what I'm saying? We looking at royalty, yo. Right? When they show you Egypt, that's not what Egypt is. You got different tribes, ethnic groups within Egypt. They say, okay, this is what these different, like, how? They got different clans and tribes in that. Remember, yo, before it was even called Upper and Lower Nile, you just got tribes and clans living in different regions. I showed y'all that last time. So for anybody to come amongst you and say, this is exactly what so if you Sudanese type, right? If you Sudanese and you living on the river, okay, with your clan, right? And you marry some other clans, you get some baby in another clan, and then all of a sudden a leadership come and play and put that nice little slick rope. And now the clan that you had married into got married, you know, you married a couple people out of that, back and forth, right? They not within that rope no more. Now you Egyptian, because that's the clan that unified, right? And the lady that you had married, her family is in the other clan that got boxed out of that border thing, right? So what am I saying here? I'm saying the picture ain't pretty, man. Like we sit here as African Americans looking at this shit play out. I mean, thinking white people know everything about. Why do white people know everything about Africa? Matter of fact, in America, we don't even know that there are several schools of thought to looking at Africa. You got the French school of thought, you got the German school of thought, you got the British school of thought, you got the American school of thought, and you got the African school of thought. The African school of thought just get, them niggas is garbage, they don't know what they're talking about.
That's true, because in Spain, their Egyptology school followed Diop. So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And then hold on, y'all. Throw black algae into the mix, y'all. And it's all crazy at this point. Think about what I just said to y'all, yo. Ain't no way, yo. So if a person come 3,000 years from now to talk about America, yo, and make
ain't no way he's gonna get it right like that.
You know how many different ethnic groups in America, yo? You got Lord China. Suppose a nigga come to America 3,000 years later and
see Lord China. He gonna say it was Chinese people that founded the United States.
Yeah, and look, and then let them have a racism against black and white people. Think about that now.
Oh no, I'm gonna tell you, if y'all ever watch, and this still what Uncle's talking about, but if y'all ever watch Planet of the Apes, I don't know if somebody ever stayed like on a Sunday back in the day when Charleston Heston, the nigga that played Moses, played the movie called Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
not the new Planet of the Apes.
That was that shit back in
the day. The shit, wasn't it? Now, what happened was he went forward in time, right? He was an astronaut, actually. He actually got caught up in the time warp and he went forward in time. He landed back on Earth and he didn't even know he was on Earth. So at the end, right, the damn the other apes had evolved and started to speak, and they started to treat humans the way we treated the apes and shit, right? So that's why we call it the Planet of the Apes. Now, the apes were saying to themselves that the human beings, right, the Homo sapiens, they was dumb, they couldn't talk, they was animals, you feel me? Same treatment that we give them. But long story short, that's not my point. My point is, at the end, he got on the horse, him and his girl, and he was riding up the beach. Remember, he didn't even know he was on Earth. When he was riding up the beach, right, at the end, he seen a statue sticking out of the sand, right? And when he got closer to it, he realized it was the head of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
You remember that part, Sosa?
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't even catch it. I've been watching that movie the whole time looking silly.
That's the whole crucial part of the movie.
Yeah, he said,
nigga, I missed the whole movie.
You know what I mean? And when I seen that, right, and I was a little kid back then when I seen that shit. the first thing I thought about was like, yo, because my father was already reading all these Egyptian books and looking at the, pyramids, the ancient statues like the Sphinx. Like he showed me how the Sphinx was buried under, where the head was just sticking out. I had to be like 11 years old, right? And I said, damn, at that age, I said, yo, we go over there and we looking at that shit and we saying what it, and we don't know what it was. You feel me? The first thing we say, I'm like, so imagine somebody 3,000 years from now see the Statue of Liberty, right, destroyed or pieces of it, and they don't see it in its original glory. They would assume that was a god because it got the sun arrays on his head, and they think we actually worship that. It's kind of what Wujawu was saying the other day. Wuja, I was getting your point, trust me. I just wanted the conversation to move forward, right? Trying to peel it out of you. But it's the same fucking concept. You dig what I'm saying? They think that the motherfucking, the Lincoln Memorial, they think Lincoln, if they don't have the writing and can't read the shit that's in front of the Lincoln Memorial, they see Lincoln sitting on the chair, they gonna say that was a throne and he was one of our gods. You dig what I'm saying? Like what you saying, without the cultural context of the shit, you can fuck shit completely up.
All the way up. All the way up. And they mess up kingship in Africa, right? Because you know how you look to a king as God. But that ain't what we mean.
Right.
So Jesus Christ is the King of the Jews, right?
King of Kings.
The King of Kings, right? But they make him a god. You get that? Like they misuse. They don't understand what you saying when an African king is like. It's the whole. And then you won't even listen to it when they try to give you their opinion on African culture based off their language. You try to explain it to the white motherfuckers. They be like, nah, that ain't what it is. Well, goddamn. So we never get agency over what we want to say. We never get to express our culture, explain what we're trying to mean. And it's just crazy. I fight for that though, Chef. I swear I do, yo. And now it just seems to me that now, after more research, more Egyptologists coming out, now they don't even say, watch this. I'm gonna update y'all. It's the update package. You will not find a modern day Egyptologist or Nubianologist. Now they got Nubianologists. They will not say that what they're miscalling Nubia, you know what I'm saying, is a vassal state to Egypt. They won't say it. They say they straight out rivals, had the same amount of bread, had the same amount of power. They say that. They say it straight out, right? And they say there's a hell of an interrelationship. They had Sean come in and tell you that the fucking army was Nubian. So, which ain't Nubian. Which is confusing because those darker tribes down there, some had allegiance to Egypt and considered themselves Egyptians, and some didn't have allegiance to that. They might have had allegiance to like Kerma or something like that, or whatever you want to say. There are definitely different tribes down there that they clumped together. Man, that's racism, man. We can't. We don't do that to them. We say Alexander, the Macedonian. He's a Macedonian. You don't say he's a Greek.
Mm-hmm.
You give him his due. Now, people who don't study think Alexander is a Greek. He's not. He's a Macedonian under the Greek state. Right? So you could be Sudanese, what we call Sudanese, or what they want to call Nubian, and your ancestors always lived in motherfucking Egypt. That don't mean you the whole population or even close to it. But you can't say the nigga not Egyptian. You can't say it. Right? You got people from Libya. You had Libyan pharaohs. You can't say he's not Egyptian. You can't say it.
Why? You just said he was Libyan.
But he's a pharaoh in Egypt. What's the nigga with the last president we had? Barack Obama.
Trump.
Right?
Trump.
Barack Obama.
Trump was the last president.
No, I know, I'm trying to say the last president I'm trying to tie into this conversation. Barack Obama. He's a West African. We're from Kenya, right?
East Africa.
Dad,
Yes,
East Africa. What's far from Kenya, right?
Kenya, East Africa.
It really?
Yes, Kenya is in East Africa. Go ahead.
Why I thought it was Central? Why I always thought it was Central? Anyway, he's a
That's all the way.
Kenyan with a mom, with a white mother. You can't say he's not an American, yo. It'd be crazy. He might not be the American you want him to be. He might like fit into your little box. That's all the point I'm trying to make.
So, I'm saying if the Libyans take control, then that's a Libyan pharaoh
dynasty, a Libyan dynasty.
That's just like when the Nubians took control. That was a Nubian dynasty. Those people were Nubians and Libyans. It's just like when the Greeks took over, they put the Ptolemies. Sir. They put the Ptolemies in, right? That dynasty, it was the Ptolemaic period. You know what I mean? Because that's who was in. You know what I mean? Just like you say, the Hyksos dynasty. You feel me?
Yeah, but we don't want to talk about the Hyksos dynasty. Do y'all really want? Okay, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Or when when the Persians took over. You feel me? You wouldn't say they Egyptians.
Yeah, they ain't do that though. No, that's different. They did that different. The Persians didn't do that. They didn't live as Egyptians. They didn't do that. Yeah, they don't do that. Yeah, they didn't do that completely. Like that's a
but situation. Everybody that came in, you got to think Libya, right? Libya, the Hyksos, and the Hyksos lived in Egypt first off. So.
So are the Egyptians? See,
you know what I mean? They lived in Egypt, right?
For how long, yo?
And the Nubians that took over, you feel me? They brought their distinct culture with them.
But it looked like Egyptian though, didn't it?
Yeah, that's the layman.
Ain't that? Yeah,
that's
right.
The layman.
Right.
Me?
Say it again. Say that again. Say it again.
That's
Chef.
The layman.
Yeah, say it again, Chef. The laymen look the same.
It looks like Egyptian. But those specialists, they go in there, they'll tell you, no, all this shit was fucking Nubian.
Yeah.
I mean, all this shit Nubian. They know all this shit Libyan. You feel me?
Yeah.
They know straight off the break. It's just like when we go to East Asia, we call them all Chinks, right? But the nuance of it, nah, that's a motherfucking Korean. And that's a motherfucking Japanese. To us, we lump them all together. They all look the same to us. You feel me? They all speak the ching chang chang language. You feel me? But those motherfuckers know how to distinguish.
You'll say the ching chang language.
They know how to distinguish. It's the same way with the people that lived around Egypt, right? The flavor of Egypt went all over. But it was nuances and regular shit that distinguished those people from each other. But you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the part I really want to say is, you got ethnic groups, different tribes, different ethnic groups, yo. And that makes up Egypt. And I like to say different ethnic groups surrounded by African culture, yo, because it's African culture. And I think we had a good conversation on African culture, and you talked about why. We talked about how people come in and live. Why do people come in? That's like a phenomenon, I think. Like why did the Greeks move into Egypt and live like Egyptians? The Persians didn't move into Egypt and live like Egyptians. They didn't do it, right? So that culture was still strong enough to make you want to live like them. That's an instrumental point. You say, well, nah. That was the best. Nobody would go into a spot with better technology and not transfer, right? Ain't that the answer you gave?
Facts.
Yeah, but shit, but that's not true, because you got people to come in and bring their culture, and you can tell it. Well, I think the point I always want to make, aside from the people, which is a super complex situation, right? Super complex situation. right? And you know, I like to explain it away with just look at how complex African American culture is. Just the people, like who's an African American, right? It's crazy. Like you is not getting no. When you look at African Americans, yo, y'all cannot act like when you look at African American, we all each it's damn it like each individual African American look different. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I just tripping or something? Like there is no constant way to look like an African American. Like there is no that it's too much. It's just too much. It's not that. Right? It's not that. You got my baby mother, man, is so light, yo. You be like, yo, that's a white woman, yo. She'll cuss you out. What? You would get cussed out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, cussed all the way out. And she ain't even mixed. But she light. Damn, they're lighter than some white people, yo. That's the joke. Anyway, the point I want to make here is that situation is complex. It's less complex down south. And human beings are complex. And I'll make this point and shut the hell up, that Homo sapiens sapien is mixed from the rip. Your forehead come from an ancient hominid. The back of your head come from an ancient hominid. The way your chin sit a certain way come from an ancient hominid. And all these pieces come together to form Homo sapiens sapien. How they know they had an ancient hominid trade? What? Yeah, shells. Shells that shouldn't even be in North Africa coming from South Africa. Shit that shouldn't even be there. Stone Age shit, like why is that there? Ain't no Homo sapiens sapiens. So they kind of figure that they was trading goods and weaponry, right? And through they trading, man, if I could get a computer, I could actually show you a map of this interbreeding. Yeah, so interbreeding is part of our experience, right? Of humans and migrating and moving. And I always make the point, hell, they walked around the damn world, yo. Do you know you got white boys right now walking around the world? Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that? Sosa.
Yeah.
And you know they got white boy walking around the world right now, right?
I know we're doing it in real time, but that's not surprising. They do shit like that all the time.
Yeah, walking around the world.
Yeah, they do shit like that all the time. I ain't surprised.
Now, hold up. Let's make the picture clear here, yo. You got roads and buses and shit. The time periods we talking about, y'all, nobody just walked around the world. They
white people do that shit, yo.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
yo, check the move. A couple years ago, right, on the outskirts of Baltimore, I was working in a suburb called Randallstown, right? I don't know where Randallstown at, right up the street, part of Baltimore, right?
Damn right. Now, I know.
Yeah. Now, in the morning, everybody know I'm a barber. In the morning, we was cutting hair, say, yo, let's run up to 7-Eleven real quick. Got a little break. Got my man car, another barber. We drove 2 blocks up, 2 lights up to a 7-Eleven. We come out of the 7-Eleven, it's 2 white boys, right? With these 2 big ass camping backpacks on. They put them down in front of the 7-Eleven, went in and brought their stuff. So as we coming out, they got hiking boots on, everything, boom, boom, boom. One of the white boys asked me, how do you get to Raven Stadium and Camden Yards from where they was at? Now, first thing I did was I recognized they didn't have a car, right? So I'm like, maybe they catching the metro, the bus or something, or gonna get on the subway system, right? So I'm like, well, is y'all catching the bus? They said, no, we walking. Right then and there, I said, all right, they on some different shit. I said, where y'all coming from? They said they was coming from Vermont.
What?
Vermont. They was in Baltimore at this point. They said they had just graduated from college, and they said when they graduated, they was gonna walk from Vermont to Florida. Yo, me and my homeboy, hood nigga, my homeboy said that my homeboy swore they was lying, yo. He couldn't believe it. I'm looking like, yo, I was watching all kind of movies like Superbad and stuff. I was like, yo, white people will actually probably try some shit like this. You feel me? Yo, they showed us their ID, you feel me? And everything. Yeah, they was from fucking Vermont. And they was walking from fucking Vermont, right, to goddamn Florida. And these regular old white boys, crazy as hell. And I was thinking like, yo, they sleeping outside. Like, yo, what if you break your leg? Like anything could happen, yo. You know how dangerous that is? Man, shoo.
They do that shit. I've seen them do it, and they'll take that backpack. I see them passing through Atlanta. Sometimes they may have a dog with them. They'll stop, and then they'll panhandle for a little while. Get a little bread up, you know what I'm saying? And then shit, you don't like, you know, the niggas you see on the corner panhandling, you see them niggas all the time. The white boy with the backpack, you'll see them once, maybe twice, and then you never see them again. You know what I'm saying? Like they on the move. Yeah, they do that shit, bro.
Yeah, that like some shit that we had never, man, woo.
Nah, you gotta be privileged to even think of some shit.
The thing about we just graduated, we graduated from high school, and we said if we graduate, you know, this semester, we're gonna go on a trip, we're gonna walk to Florida. Like, yo, our parents wouldn't even let us do no shit like that. Our family would be like, yo, y'all ain't doing that dumbass shit, you gonna die. You feel me? I mean,
you gotta be privileged. Yeah. Like, I want to live like the poor people. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's experience that. You know what I'm saying? One time in our lives.
To walk. That's walking the length of the United States from north to south, damn it. You know what I mean? Where the hell is Vermont at? That's above Boston, Massachusetts, ain't it?
Yeah, but you know, the white people do shit like nigga try to swim the Pacific. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfucker, that's that Wanderlust gene Corey was talking about.
Yeah.
Hey man, shout out to Sahotep, the great Sahotep in the chat. Shout out to Smash Rock Wells.
Asar, hit that link.
Yeah, work like that.
Somebody dropped the link in the chat. Yeah, he said he knew a brother who walked the U.S. in protest. He said he's from Houston.
Yeah, man.
So I remember arguing though. We debating over, and you know this is a contentious point right here about West Africa and Egypt and all that. And so I'm arguing and shit. You know, them niggas they ain't do that. And then Chef say Musa. I was like, damn, Musa walked from West Africa
to Mecca.
To Mecca. He stopped by Egypt first. So he had to have trails to do that. Right? I think he took the right, what he took the outskirts route. He didn't go through the desert way. Which way he go? Y'all know?
He went up and went across.
Okay, went across, right? Yeah. And came down, he was walking.
They got his whole route. They know his whole route.
Yeah, it was, listen, he took 100,000 people with him, yo. 100,000 people.
Slaves, though.
He better.
Let's be clear.
Not all slaves.
There were a lot of them were slaves. And he was giving them away. And all kind of shit. He was wild, but go ahead. He was a wild boy.
Made bathtubs in the sand. Did that. Gold, mule pack mules, all that, right? But the point I'm making is he walked to Egypt. So either and you know me, man, you say this, man, you argue this all the time, Chef. Either you think that Musa didn't know about Egypt until the Arabs came, right? And didn't think he could walk there before the Arabs came, or that's some shit people been doing. We just said you got people walking from Massachusetts to Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm sure he knew because motherfuckers crossed that desert with that camera.
I don't know, dog. Like them trade routes that it's the trade routes are called what's it called, y'all? It's in between the Sahara. And like West African Sahara, it's a trading system that has been going on forever, yo.
Yeah, they made oases and depots and all of that stuff exist within at that time existed within the Sahara. It wasn't just blanket. They had mile markers where they had different rest stops, and it was local towns and water holes, all that stuff, because it was a part of the trade network.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but that trade network started in the Green Sahara, though. That's a fact. We ain't got to debate that. Yeah, that trade network. There was a lot of cultural exchange in the Sahara. Yep.
Yeah, but the easiest way to get to it and most of the time,
go around.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, he would have lost a lot of niggas in that desert. A lot of bodies would have dropped.
Yeah, once you make it to North Africa, now you got, the roads and everything else that you can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
there's another group. Hold on, yo.
Take 100,000 people with you. You got to be able to feed them.
Right. And you ain't going to just walk across a goddamn desert with 100,000 people. They ain't going to make it.
No.
They ain't going to make it. You know how much resources of his nation he had to take out of there to even, oh, man.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
He was a wild boy for that.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
He was an asshole.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
Trade that gold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That gold, the funny thing is, reading about that gold, gold is really worthless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we put value on that shit.
Yeah, it's all vanity. You know what I'm saying? That shit crazy. So, you know what I mean? Like the Native Americans.
You got a deal. You wake up when you want to.
Huh?
He yelled out of nowhere. That's
Native Americans had tons of gold, like that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Chef, I'm horrible, Chef. I'm horrible with geography, Chef.
Wow, what you do now?
Oh my God, I'm looking at Somalia, yo. Who knew Somalia was right there, yo? Right beside Kenya.
Yeah, you need to sit and look at that map for 5 minutes. And
I
got that shit to memory, yo.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. You ain't nowhere to
go. Yeah, that shit all the way over there.
Damn, Kenya is right there, yo. Why I'm thinking of Central? Oh my
13% Kenya. That's what I know when I saw it. Because when I did my DNA test, and I was like, I'm 13% Kenyan. I'm like, nigga, that's way over there. I'm like, that shit. You feel me?
They walk, yo. I know it's a tribe in Niger, yo, that control trade, yo, all the way to Egypt, yo. I know I ain't tripping, nigga. Am I tripping?
I don't know.
What's the name of the group, yo? Somebody in the chat know.
You had to get the SAR in for that type of shit.
No, I know it is. I was reading it. I was like, I'm gonna get y'all with it. I forgot. It was crazy. It was remarkable. I can Google that. I don't know, but I'm gonna shut up.
Was the Berbers? It was a Berber tribe?
I don't know. I'm gonna see. You're gonna let me know if it's a Berber tribe or not.
Hey, don't nobody want to clean them Berbers, boy.
They ain't fucking with the Berbers, yo. I thought you had 2 types of Berbers. Nigga told me, nah, nigga, they all Berbers.
They'll say like you start saying in Africa, you
don't
say Berber, like, nope.
Ain't nobody know of Africa no more. Niggas been there for 30,000 years. Y'all ain't African, nigga. God damn. You left and came back. Don't leave and come back. They left, right? Came back, stayed longer than they left, but they can't be that. Don't nobody know how they look when they left and how they look when they came back. We don't know that. But boy, we be like, they ain't that. That shit funny, yo. We crazy. All of us crazy. I'm gonna tell you right now. All of us, yo. Make determinations on some shit 12,000 years ago. It's kind of hard, yo. I don't even think we realize how long ago it is, yo. You right now, yo, we fighting to try to get our culture back.
$10 ain't shit no more, man.
Who was that?
$10 ain't shit no more.
Hello?
Juju.
Juju sound different than Muff.
Nah, she said a dude. Juju, you bugging. You wide open.
Nah,
Wide open, shorty.
throat just a little sore. She a little hoarse there.
God body
Habibi
sports said,
Fahodier.
Whatever, yo, you wide. You talking about 10 hours and all that. Come on, yo, mute that out. We don't hear all that.
I'm getting gas. I was getting gas.
You getting 10 hours worth of gas?
Nothing. What was said is $10 ain't nothing. Gas $3 a gallon.
Right, y'all getting
a half a gallon in that drink.
You getting 2 gallons.
You said you only got $10 worth of gas?
No, chef friend. It was the comment being made to my damn gas $3 now. Well, $10 ain't shit. That's what was said. Sorry, y'all. I had it on mute. I must have rubbed it off. Moving. Peace, family.
Peace.
Sorry, I didn't mean to close all your trap doors. You know I'm green. I be asking questions for clarity. I don't know how to slay them yet.
Man, you're not supposed to ask questions no more, man.
Absolutely. Understood, Kent.
You just supposed to study.
Understood, Chef.
Write a book. Don't ask no questions. Write a book.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you know, like, I just want to understand people's position or context, or, you know, just make sure that I'm clear. That's all. Yeah.
I feel you.
They saying it was is you talking about the Good Body Sports Center? Is you talking about the Sanike people?
Nah, I probably made that shit up.
Yeah, he said they control trade from Niger to Egypt. They were some bad motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think Juju, you in the chat? Drop the link. If you're in the chat, drop the link.
Okay, just a second.
Yeah.
So you the host, you gotta let people learn.
Yeah, I see the coming. Yeah, I see the coming.
Un momento, la familia.
Huh?
One moment, chef. Damn.
You speaking Spanish?
Don't have that senor, chef. I live in Florida, boy. You better learn how to, you know, say hello.
Yo, I was just down there a couple of weeks
learn
ago.
something. Why didn't you let anybody know?
I was in Miami. It seemed like all the Spanish women down there got fake butts. It was crazy.
A lot of Cubans down
Even
there.
Even the old ones. It was old Spanish chicks that worked in Walgreens. Was fat as a mug. I said, good as a mug. Yeah, them fake butts is serious down there.
Yeah.
Them Spanish women is on it.
They just called me out because I heard you make that comment about the gas.
All right, so
damn, my mic keep on muting itself.
Yeah.
Hold on, dropping the link.
Yeah, it's yeah, Mansa Musa was a wild boy though.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he did his thing, but you know, to travel that far, he had to take that many people with him. Like shit.
Yeah, and he did it at the expense of his country.
Yeah.
You feel me? You know, they had slaves mining that gold and all of that, man. And then you take all of that shit and just give it to Arabs and Muslims just so you can seem like you somebody, and you giving away people as, you know what I mean? Like, man, that shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he offset other economies coming through.
Yeah, with all that funky ass gold.
Yeah, drive the rate down. You gonna fuck up.
All that funky ass gold he had.
Yeah, nigga had to go over the high. Musa come through. He got this shit dirt cheap now. Like, damn, I need this shit for my family, nigga. Like,
that shit, man. People don't take that into consideration. You know what I mean? Like, yo, to be that powerful at that, you know, you basically was ruthless. You feel me?
Yeah.
You was ruthless. Anytime a goddamn a West African king, right, in a hostile time period like that can travel from goddamn Ghana all the way to Mecca. You know how many hostile tribes and shit? He had to be root. They must have knew he was a serious dude. You feel me?
His reputation preceded him. Like niggas laid down.
Anytime them Berbers just gonna let him through like that, like come on.
Yes.
Them boys wasn't playing. You feel me?
Yeah.
They wasn't playing. He must have had like some Navy SEALs with him or something. Them boys wasn't playing, yo. And then he made it back home. Like, that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yo, that's some serious shit, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You know, he moving with an army, so folks just like, hey, listen, just, you know what I'm saying? We don't want nothing but peace, bro. Like, just go ahead, pass. Y'all need some water. Y'all need some, you know what I'm saying? Like, load that shit up, bro. Like, yeah.
But you got to think, giving away all of that stuff was a good way for people to allow him to pass through.
Yeah.
You feel me? You going through other people's kingdoms and shit.
Yeah, and
you
he's
know what I mean? Like, definitely letting you pass through. Nigga, I give you 300 cattle. I give you all this gold. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know,
so. Then they like, you know what I mean? Go ahead, start me up. Give me you know what I mean? Like a gas station. You feel me? I'm gonna overpay. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, stop me up. You feel me? And I'm gonna catch you coming back.
Right. Definitely was coming through heavy.
Yeah.
Paying heavy for shit.
Yeah, but the fact that nobody chose to even ride on him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what makes the story even more miraculous. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like nobody was like, yo, let's just like, because he far away from his kingdom. He far away from his kingdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like we can hit him from the two sides.
Take that gold from his ass.
Yeah. Like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like shit.
Yeah, the fact that ain't nobody take him off shows he was a serious dude. Yeah, man, it showed that he was a serious dude to make it all the way, and then to be able to make it back. You know what I mean? I was just watching a documentary on ancient Nubia, and it was talking about how far, like we don't think how far it is from Egypt, like down to those different capitals, right? So it was saying like how, you know, the dude was using a Nubian boat, and he was saying like, yo, once you get to the second cataract, right, you can't even go by boat no more. You got to get off it because the cataracts is a racket of rocks and shit. So you can't even pass through it, right? On a boat, it'll tear your boat up. So it was saying like for an army to move, right, from Egypt into Nubia, they would have to, you know, they constructed boats that they could take apart real fast, and then they would have to carry their boats across the land for miles and then put them back together, right?
Yeah.
And then put them back in the water, restock all of that shit back on the boats, then go back. And then it was 3 cataracts. So they had to do that shit like 3 or 4 times, yo. Like, yo, you know how, man. Woo!
Niggas about that life, man.
Yeah, they about that life. They about that life. It take you 6 months.
Just look like Hannibal. Well, they had to cross some Alps.
Man, look, that was some impossible shit right there.
Man, bro, like how niggas ain't give up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like Hannibal, you tripping.
Like, man, fuck you, Hannibal, nigga. I'm out. Nigga, like, you know what I'm saying?
But they were so far away. It
wasn't no turning back.
Yeah, like, yo, if you back then, if you left your native land, yo, it was a real possibility that you were never coming back, yo.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
You feel me? Like that was, come on now, you crossed the Mediterranean, right? Into Italy. Yo, a lot of them niggas knew, yo, we ain't never coming back, yo. You know, they stayed in Italy for decades. The motherfuckers weren't coming back, you know what I mean? They actually took the long way around. So they was raiding city after city, restocking their, you know what I mean, their supplies, living there, doing the whole nine, you know. Take
then
the
when they
women.
hit them mountains though, they had to get them elephants up them goddamn mountains.
Yeah, they lost most of their elephants.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a suicide mission.
Yeah, the nigga was like, that's why they was like, ain't no way a nigga coming from that direction. You know what I'm saying? They're like, nigga, that's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody expected to come that route. That's why that shit was ingenious. Impossible, but improbable, but fucking ingenious, though.
Yeah, there's like somebody just mentioned the Moors. When I think one of the Moorish generals, when they landed on the mainland after Gibraltar, they had that skirmish at Gibraltar. When they landed on the mainland, they said one of the generals burnt all of the boats and told the army, it ain't no way going back. So we got to fight these motherfuckers. Yo, you know what type of pressure that is, yo? Nigga said he set the boats on fire. Said it's the sea behind us, right? And it's the Christians in front of us. You know what I mean? Either you gonna drink this water, right? Or you gonna fight these motherfucking Christians. But it ain't no way back. You feel me? So, man, that's whew.
Yeah, them generals about that life.
Yeah, they were about that life, man. They knew they wasn't coming back, man.
Yeah, them seafaring niggas, you know, he with the Vikings, you know, the Vikings, when they land to the beach, they would bury their boat and shit.
Yeah, ain't no way back.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, it is what it is. You feel me?
Yeah.
Sink or swim.
Yeah, we came over this motherfucker. But if you ever look at, right, and it's sad that that's how military minds think, right? Because even if you go to something recent, like when we invaded Normandy, right?
Yeah.
To take that beach, they already estimated how many people
gonna die.
They was gonna lose. Now these are young kids, basically. You feel me? They already saying that we might lose 30,000 just trying to take the beach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. That's why them front line niggas is like them niggas got so much heart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
No, but you don't even tell them. You don't even tell these kids what they about to be up against.
But shit, when you in that olden days and you in that front line and you see the niggas come with the spears and your job is to hold the fort, nigga, you know you out of there, dog.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, hold the line. That's just crazy.
And it's crazy because the Moors actually used Africans, right, warriors as their front line.
Yeah.
You feel me? You can make certain things like they was good with the long lance because they dealt with the spear. Nah, yo, you set them niggas up, yo.
Yeah, you gotta put your expendable up first. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even if you look at the early conquistadors and the Spanish that came to the Americas, they actually had African warriors with them. That they used as infantry. A lot of people don't even know that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
yeah, like everywhere they went, they would like there was Africans with them like everywhere they went. You know what I'm saying? Travel and shit. It was dope because they used to bring like, you know, they're responsible for bringing pigs over here.
And they would let pigs loose so they'd have a
bunch of
food
babies.
source.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because pigs reproduce.
Yeah.
So if they came back in 10 years, they already have a food source.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hell yeah. That shit like niggas is wild, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially back then, like niggas is wild as hell, bro. I be seeing niggas fight like I was watching in Japan shit. You know, like the leader be out there in the midst of shit, chopping niggas, stabbing niggas. You know
oh yeah, they ain't sit back. You was a coward if you sat back.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas, and then rule for like 15, 20 years, go to battle all the time and shit, and make it through all the goddamn wars and shit. Like shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got and oh man, and that's a good point. Good body, even like the Crusades, those holy wars. Those people knew that they wasn't coming back, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You coming from France, you know what I mean, into Palestine. You know you ain't coming back, yo.
Yeah, you gotta win. You gotta win. If you try to retreat, they just go chop. They gonna chop. Yeah. That's why once you retreat, it's over. They finna just. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you ain't coming back, man. That shit. It's kind of even the Civil War. That's even sadder. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy as hell.
Civil War don't even make no damn sense because
you just walking in front of somebody shooting it.
Yeah, that's like family against family. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't like a nigga live in a whole nother country. Nigga, that's some niggas 200-300 miles up the road and shit. Like cousins and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, that's that war shit. But like those Africans had to endure that shit. You know what I mean? Like that shit was kind of savage. You know what I mean? Well, war period. I don't care if it's modern or you know what I mean. When we see those pictures of what those bombs and missiles do, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Shit hitting hospitals and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, but I'm just glad a nigga ain't grow up back in them days. So like just the comfortability of living your life and war on top of that shit. You feel me? Like no AC, no internet. Just life is hard all the way around.
All the way around.
All the way around, and you got to go to savage wars and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, a nigga pull up, take your village, rape your girl, rape your wife, rape. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man, it's people still living like that, yo.
Yeah, because like you know, the bigger your army get, especially like at Japan, right? Them samurais, like they ready for war. Like you can't just stop going to war because you got to pay them. You know what I'm saying? They want women and bounty. You know what I'm saying? So it's never time to rest. As soon as you conquer another place, you got to find another place to go get so you can feed the wolves. You know what I'm saying? So shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't have them warriors without no wars.
Yeah.
That's especially if you once your people become warlike, now you train in a warrior class. You feel me? Like, yeah, what you think that's for? You feel me?
Yeah.
That shit ain't just for protection. Yeah, I mean that's for conquest.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You got to pay a military. You got to feed them up. You feel me?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it don't matter how much a place is beautified. You know that ruler had to do some dirty shit every now and then. Like, y'all don't give a fuck how you dress it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, the motherfucker had to do some dirty shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, Mansa Musa and all of them, they were goddamn despots, yo. You know, there's no way around that. You know what I mean? To create empires like that, you gotta absorb other kingdoms. You feel me?
Yeah.
Other chiefdoms. You got to absorb that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, they wasn't playing. You know what I mean? I don't know why we sit here and act like Africans wasn't, you feel me? Like getting it in. Like, is this too much?
For killing their own kind.
Yeah, they definitely was killing enslaving their own kind. You know what I mean?
Like, just like everybody else do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That shit ain't gonna stop.
Like that shit was all peaches and cream. Yo. Like everybody was unified and shit. Before the white man came.
man,
you know what?
If you look at the Ghana Empire, or I think is the Songhai, or one of them. Yo, I think that goddamn shit was damn near, the empire was damn near the size of the United States.
Ghana?
One of them, Songhai, whichever one that got the biggest out of those three. Shit was damn near the size, like, you ain't playing. You feel me? To rule over a place that big, motherfuckers gotta feed you, yo.
Ain't shit sweet, yo. Ain't shit sweet at all. Shit. Like you see that Shaka Zulu shit when they was spiking nigga?
Man, Shaka Zulu wasn't playing.
Put a nigga on, oh my God, like what they call it, like embowel, I forgot what they call that shit. When they stick the shaft up a nigga rectum and shit and put a nigga up in the air.
Then he said, now they enslaving people now. Yeah. What you think the Africans was sitting down just meditating and, you know, trying to be good Christians?
Was sick.
Eating elderberry and shit, eating sea moss and shit, trying to goddamn live by the laws of day.
It's harmonious and shit.
Yeah. Shit, niggas get it in.
That's why don't say that though. Don't say that because you be anti-African.
I was trying to tell me, like, you go to damn China, like, nigga, China, Japan, niggas hate, like, damn, it was mortal enemies, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell them niggas apart. They can.
Those said, do you have proof of them being despots? Yo, y'all stay in the chat, yo. If y'all just want to romanticize Africa, I just don't even. Oh God.
Yo, anything negative the Africans did, you anti-African if you speak.
Yeah, yo, like this is. God, man, we can't even talk about Africa. We can't even talk about Africa realistically.
Yeah, you gotta know they did with other people.
You gonna hurt sensitive niggas' feelings and shit, man. You can't do that.
Yeah, you gotta know they did what other people did, bro. Like they just human. You feel me?
They just humans. Africans are human beings. They do what human beings do, yo.
Yeah, the Europeans was getting it in, and then the European was like, "Yo." With Christianity, like, listen, they finally found a way to stop fighting each other like this. We all under the same faith. You know what I'm saying? Let's turn this shit towards some other motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they was tearing each other up over that, bro. Yeah. And once they got unified under that Christian banner, then it was able to goddamn aim towards something else. You know what I'm saying? That's what made like Islam and them shits so effective. You feel me? I think Africa's disadvantage was they didn't unify under one. Like if there was a large Yoruba kingdom, they would have been able to defend against these other nations. But since they split up and chopped up, like the smaller tribes ain't running to help the other tribe because they got their different cultural practices and stuff like that. They beef with each other. So, you know what I mean? So that's why I think that's why Shaka had such had more success but when they came there, he had already goddamn put work in.
Yeah, he already then created a bigger, you know what I mean? He consolidated.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The tribes, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. If they would have came 20 years earlier, 30 years earlier, you know, wiped them out quick. You know what I'm saying?
But that's a great case point. Because that's how the Moors was able to gain all of that territory in Spain and Portugal. Because all of those different houses were split up.
Exactly.
It was so many different kingdoms. See, people don't even know that. You had the kingdom of Granada. You had the kingdom of Seville. You had Cordoba. You dig what I'm saying? All these different, they wasn't they was fighting each other, right? They was beefing with each other. So when the Moors came over, they ain't even have enough, you feel me, to fight each other because they fucked themselves. Yeah. And the same way the Africans did. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Moors made them unify.
Yeah.
That was the only way to get them out.
Yeah, it took them 700 years to do it.
Exactly.
To unify. They was retarded.
Exactly.
Can I interject?
Well, who you call retarded? Something crazy. Who you call?
The
Who
Spanish.
is that?
Some of the Europeans. Go ahead, fam. Some of the
Who is
Europeans.
that?
I don't know, Adrian.
Adrian Wilder.
Yeah,
What's your
Pete,
name,
brother.
man?
Introduce yourself,
What's your
man.
name?
My name is Adrian. It's that wasn't necessarily like before the Moorish invasion of Spain. That was basically only about, like, from my knowledge, there was only like two kingdoms. It was Roderick and it was Julian. Julian was the one who told the Moors, like, you can come over here and then like invade Spain because Julian had violated my daughter. You can get this information in Stanley Lane Poole's The Story of the Moors in Spain. And I have another thing to say as well.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give it really quick.
That's a good book. That's a good book.
I have read several books by Basil Davidson, the great British Africanist. And there's a chapter in one of his books, Old Africa Rediscovered, where he talks about
Go ahead, my bad.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sorry. Where he talks about the differences between like African and European warfare. Now, keep in mind, Basil Davidson is like legitimate. He says African weapons were used to like minimize warfare. Like basically, not a lot of people were getting killed when Africans fought each other. It's the same with the Native Americans when they fought each other. Like only about 7 people.
No.
No,
we ain't gonna let you get away with that, yo.
Yeah, Native. The Aztec.
Yeah, yo, you dove out there, yo.
Hey, y'all just cut them off in mid-sentence. I ain't even let them man.
Let them finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I heard that. No, I heard this before.
Yeah,
go ahead, yo. You bugging.
The Africans
He came in with Stanley Poole, yo.
Yeah, go ahead. Let him rock out. My bad.
Hold on. He walked through with Stanley Poole. I said, yo, gonna be sharp with it. Then you like, them niggas ain't had no weapons.
Serious though,
Man, Basil Davis ain't had no, man, them niggas had, man.
No,
man,
I'm
they
saying
conquered the
Basil
world
Davis.
with a spear. The African spear conquered the world.
Let him run it down.
Go ahead, run it down.
Let him run it down. Go ahead.
Run it down.
One of you brothers brought up the Aztecs, right?
Go ahead, run it down first. Don't worry about that.
No, finish it about Basil Davis and what he said about African warfare. Don't let them distract you with goofy stuff talking about Aztecs.
He said the Aztecs.
Well,
stay right in Africa with Basil Davis.
Yeah, stay on point.
Okay, so Basil Davidson in his book, Old Africa Rediscovered, he talks about when Africans like fought each other, like their weapons were used to like, minimize warfare. And he also brought up instances where he shows there's like a honor system where the tribes would be like, okay, we just had this, small skirmish, I will give you all the opportunity to like retreat and things of that nature. Now,
I ain't buying that shit.
Ethnocentric view of like, since Asian people did this, African people did this, there's certain like differences. Like everybody, we are the same as humans. We are the same. But then at the same time, there's certain differences that need to be brought up.
Like Africans are a little bit more loving. So when they go to war,
What's
they
the
don't
differences,
really,
yo?
No.
They don't really
What's the
try
differences?
to
Hold on. What's the differences, Adrian? That need to be brought up.
We ain't buying that, yo. I ain't buying that.
What's the differences, Adrian?
Just the differences are when Africans like fought each other, like only a few people would get killed. Like if Africans fought each other, it would be like if 12 people got killed, that was a huge battle. It wasn't like in Europe where, okay, if one of us fights each other, we're all going to die. It's certain differences.
Well, it's cool if a little bit of people get killed, but if a whole lot of people get killed, it's something different.
Yeah, like that. How would they be able to supply demand for slaves if all they killing is just a couple people though? You see what I'm saying?
What are you saying that Africans had a slave-based economy?
No, I'm saying like there was a slavery process already in play in Africa, right? Before the Europeans got there, right?
It was indentured servitude.
I'm not. Whatever it is, they would trade. They were trading bodies, is what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
They were slaves. No,
I'm trying to be.
Indentured servitude. It's completely different.
No, they probably had some slaves. They had a little bit of slaves.
It was indentured servitude. It's differences, and plus, in Africans and slavery,
differences.
The rights will be taken away.
You know, like indentured servitude will probably more go to the people within the population who gave themselves into servitude, like they owed a debt, right? Or
Yeah.
Slavery.
This would be the population, the within the population, right? But if you fought a war and you got 20-something soldiers back, you're not going to just have them just kind of just walking around free, you know what I mean? Just able to, you know what I mean, gather, make plans to, you know what I mean?
Oludare Equiano was a slave.
Who?
Between Africans and other Africans.
Who you say?
Equiano. I don't know too much about him. I know his account's been calling a question. I kind of heard a couple of discussions on that.
Equiano. That's the one, the Jewish dude or black guy.
Black dude. The black dude.
Oh yeah, they beat him up. Yeah, he beat up. Yeah, let that go.
Said it was had Hebrew practices in that.
Yeah, we ain't doing that game. We ain't gonna play that one.
Well, I could use another. I can use another person.
I want to deal with the African warfare. I want to post the article.
Okay.
Go ahead, touch on that. Go ahead, touch on the warfare.
Yeah, let me post the article. Chef crazy ass start fucking with me at 7:00 in the morning with that shit. I think you set the show up there, Chef, with that shit, because we got the source, don't we, Chef?
Yeah.
We got a place called Wadi Kabanya. That's down in the Sudan, right? Where you get some of the oldest warfare of killing motherfuckers. So I don't know what Basil and the boys is talking about, but they was killing each other on the Nile, yo. They was getting it in. And you know what? It's disingenuous to our growth as Africans when we don't let them kill each other. Like the murder game is planet Earth. The resource game is how you take care of that which you birth. It's simple. So all that, we ain't killing nobody. We're gonna make a weapon. As soon as you make a weapon that don't kill nobody, somebody gonna have a weapon that kill you. You know what I'm saying? So the African, they were strong warrior class. So I don't know about, like, I'm realizing that they downplay our strength for real, right? So the oldest wars occurred in Africa. They got the grave sites to prove it. We'll put that in the chat. Absolutely. It's a non-cipher to think that how you think an empire will kill you. You got people on a Namas pilot, watch this, Africans holding heads chopped off. That's gruesome. They standing there like the Vikings holding your head. It's on the pallet. Does anybody want to show the pallet? You got the pallet and the heads is chopped off. So all this, they were soft. They had the Play-Doh tips, the root tips, flower tips. No, I don't believe them.
Yeah, you just made Shaka Zulu. You just changed the whole dynamic of Shaka Zulu with that one.
Yeah, he murdered them to beat the empire together. Empires is murdering. That's why it's called an empire. Because they're going to murder you. It's called the lay down or get down. This is how it works. This is what made down south great, Nubia and well, they ain't a fucking place called New, but this is what made them great and renowned, was their ability to protect themselves and exact punishment on a person that wasn't willing to give in to their demands. Now, the first order of the day is to negotiate and have civil discourse. But after that don't work, I'm going to kill you. You cannot have this place on the river. And we did it better than anybody else. How do you know we did it better than anybody else? Because we had kingdoms that lasted for thousands of years. Empires lasted forever.
For the mannequin.
So it's important for us to erase that old peaceful African narrative. Now they might be chilling because they ain't got that competition right now. They don't have it.
The Mandinka was peaceful. Them man.
Bro, you know
we gotta stop that.
You know, on
y'all make us. We not weak, yo. Damn.
They were some warriors.
Yeah, you
wow.
I don't
hey, don't hit me. Hey, don't hit me right there. Hey, ring the bell. Don't hit me right there.
I mean, because you gotta say too, like you ain't a warrior if you willing to quit when 10 people die. Like you ain't really about that life. It's like niggas will go harder than that in the States. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now, I will tell you this. In that early battle, they actually had some women holding babies. I think they just died or something, but they didn't show no battle. So they showed mercy on them. Yeah, right. So
yeah, because the Native Americans would do that, right? Like if because you know they always need women. You know what I'm saying? Different influx. And if the child is young enough, they look at that like they can take that into the because you know that you lose warriors. So if you can get a child young enough that you can raise as your own or raise into the tribe, then that's how they play the game. But if you was above a certain age, you know, you out of here.
They say prehistoric violence on the edge of the Sahara was actually a series of conflicts. It had initially been thought it was a single armed conflict, and this the Daily Mail. That's bullshit. Race war. That's just some shit. They threw that in there. That's why we don't use blogs, but they throw that race shit in there. But that ain't. Yeah, when you go, the story is actually published in the Journal of Nature. But these bullet points, it say, but healed trauma on remains of Jabil Shahaba Cemetery dispute these theories. It says it follows reanalysis of skeletons being preserved at the British Museum in London. Yeah, what I'm gonna do is stay away from the blogs though. The blogs, right? They don't allow the scientists to actually put the title of the article form. So they do it to sell papers or to sell views, and So matter of fact, the title of it is crazy. It's a ancient battleground in Sudan, thought to be the site of the first race war 13,000 years ago, actually hosted a series of violent episodes. Analysis of skeletons suggests. So when you go to the Journal of Nature, don't say nothing about no damn race war. They do talk about different types of tools being used in the conflict, which would say this might have been two different warring clans fighting against each other, right? And they kind of talk about where the tools would have came from. So early in the Stone Age Palestine, they wasn't having no weapons that weren't gonna kill you. So I don't know when they adopted that shit. That might end up being why we got beat down, if that's the point we was making. But yeah, that could be a good reason. We lost our punch right there because we the first people to start going to battle. Yeah, if you think they all moved to the Nile whistling while they was working, y'all missed y'all missed the true genius of the African. We was able to wage war. We was able to write treaties. Matter of fact, how about this? I'm gonna give y'all something slick. The first treaty in history, okay, it's between the Hittites and the Egyptians, and it's at the you can actually find it. What's the name? The League of Nations. Is that what it's called? What's it called? I think that's it, right? Yeah, the first treaty known to man, meaning we ain't gonna fight. We're gonna choose. We already fought the war. That's right. You know what I mean? Okay, we're gonna negotiate this. We're gonna stop fighting. That's in Africa. That's what the African group. So I don't know. Bro. You gotta have some serious sources. What you got? Let me shut up. What you got, bro?
He said he got Basil Davidson.
The white boy, right?
No,
Yeah.
Basil Davidson was black.
What's wrong with the Scott? What's wrong with the white Africans telling Black history?
He a white boy. He a white boy, Chef.
Oh, I ain't
white
know
boy,
that.
Chef.
Damn.
No, ain't nothing wrong with that.
He was African.
Come on, yo.
Yeah, he's African.
A white
definitely.
African.
What? Who?
What? Who? What y'all talking about?
Yeah, and even them
Basil
Aztecs, bro. Like the Aztecs, look how you know how many niggas the Aztec sacrifice a month?
Yeah, they got their heads on the wall.
Aztecs, when you look at their weapons, because like I've seen
Oh, he's just talking about the weapons, y'all.
Oh,
they had jade knives, yo.
Yeah,
look, here we are. When like I've seen like documentaries with Aztec weapons experts, and they said when the Aztecs fought each other, they didn't really fight to kill each other either. Those like jagged weapons and stuff that you would see, like with the what's that club? You know, the club with the obsidian blades on it. They would basically like hit you in your leg and tear like a ligament out, and then they would like force you to get on that. They would force you to walk, to their homeland. Then they'll sacrifice you. So even when they fought, they weren't fighting it. They was fighting it.
Yo, did you hear what you just say though? Yo, did you hear what you just said? Did you hear it? Yeah. That's even worse. I'm gonna cut a ligament out your leg, take you back there, and then sacrifice you. Did you just say that?
Yeah, that's what the Aztec weapons experts said. They said that they didn't
Jesus
really fight.
Christ, yo. Yo, that's worse. Yo, I'm gonna just let you have that. That's the best one tonight, yo. Replay that. Let me replay it in slow motion. The Aztecs didn't really kill you, but they did. Well, they had a weapon that would take a ligament out your leg so you can't walk. Then they would take you back to base camp and sacrifice you to God.
Drug you, cut your damn heart out and shit.
God, that's gruesome. Yo, I can't walk because you took the ligament out my leg. They ain't had no hospitals back in the day, yo. You was bleeding. Oh, dang. Well, that's
You got thunder.
It's not a
thunder
good
in the building.
Yeah, help me out, Thunder. That is not a good one to prove they weren't trying to kill each other. That's
yeah, I want to know like what I think you helped argument on that one, Dave.
Did he?
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
I mean, it happens, bro.
Right.
I think that
happens. All right, here you go. Hold on, Thunder. Let me tell you. It's called intergroup violence amongst early Holocene hunter-gatherers in West Turkana, Kenya. That's another one. Like, they just got all kind of fights. Oh, man. So we got the Sudan. We got West Turkana, Kenya. Yeah, so, I got evidence. Yeah. But go ahead, Thunder.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying we got it all worked out.
Yeah,
it was killing each other.
Some Africans woke up with violence.
Native American was literally sacrificed like tens of thousands sometimes doing a ceremony, bro.
Yeah, yo.
Wow.
Shit.
But I heard that. I heard that before though. That's you know what I mean. I didn't heard people say, you know what I mean, that the Africans' warfare wasn't as violent, you know what I mean, as Europeans and all of this. I mean, it's crazy how we just romanticize even goddamn war about Africa. Like, god damn. Why ain't nobody telling Tutsis that in Rwanda when they decided to wild the fuck out? Why ain't nobody tell this ain't how y'all get down?
By then they was influenced by the European chef. You know, the Europeans influenced.
Yeah.
You
know?
They ain't know how to kill. They ain't know how to kill them to the Europeans.
Yeah, Europeans taught.
Oh my God, we got
European. They took them out the caves from off their knees and all that shit, but what? Europeans taught them how to kill.
Yeah, we were just talking about all the just the war and stuff. The UK with the opposite argument, like, nah, they was actually kind of peaceful with dull knives and shit. Like,
Oh, nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. That
Don't
boy
not.
throwing,
They ain't kill everybody.
throwing a dull
They
spear and
kill
shit.
everybody.
Spear just dull. Niggas like, ow! You try to throw a spear and stab it, nigga like, ow, man, goddamn.
Y'all said they had a dog spear. Y'all gotta stop your ass.
Yeah, that's funny. You out there, we get it.
No, but he definitely quoting a source. He not making that up out. So
Yeah.
I respect where he coming from.
Yeah, I respect that. Yeah. I respect that.
They
I'm
put
just not around with that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have y'all.
Yeah, the archaeological record don't break that up.
now. Yeah, it say different now.
I might need to change my stance then. I got the evidence, so I've got to change my stance now.
Now you need the archaeological evidence to
He
back that.
said he got it. I just gave it to him.
Oh, okay. I thought,
Go to Journal of Nature,
Nothing
yo.
wrong with that.
I'm gonna log in so y'all can hear. I'm gonna let y'all hear this. I'm gonna give y'all some. No, I appreciate the brother coming. He ain't coming in empty-handed though. You can remember, y'all, when y'all come in, if you don't come in empty-handed, then we might laugh at you after that because I'm just a silly dude. I can't have shit. Yeah, we like having fun, man. But yeah, as long as you come in, with some credible shit, then I like it.
Yeah, he came with Lane Pool.
Yeah, which is credible.
Yeah, Moors in Spain. Then he came with Basil Davis.
Yeah, shit. We done had to fight and abandon sources all types of ways over here, bro. That's just regular business. Regular business.
I'm in scholar land now. I gotta come correct.
Yeah, you gotta come. Yeah. I tell you what about that Stanley Pool joint, the Moors in Spain. Most people skip that part where they say the black Moors couldn't even go outside, yo. Did you read that in the joint?
You said the black ones?
Yeah, the Africans couldn't go outside. They had to stay inside. They were the guards. They couldn't go outside because the people would try to kill them.
Well, what time period? Because was this like at the end? Because I can imagine it being at the end, like a more rule.
No, because you got to think. As it progressed, Africans took on more and more power over the 700 years because you had different kings that got involved, right? You had the Almoravids and the Almohads.
Almohads?
Yeah, the Almohads and the Almoravids. These now you got to look at it was people in like Ghana and stuff, right? That turned Muslim, and then they wanted to do their religious jihad, right? So, slaying the Christian and all of that became part of it. So they marched their armies up, right, and joined the invasion or the occupation of they called it El Andalus or Andalusia. So when these different Africans came up, they started to become sheriffs, right? Because they had their own military power. So when they would get to Spain, the Arabs was in control at this point. And it was the Arabs on top, and the Berbers was under the Arabs, and then the Black Africans was under the Berbers. But over that long period of time, when those Africans started to bring more of their fighting force into there, they started to gain more power. So in certain cities, they became like sheriffs because they had the military power to control the because those people were they would rise up against the Moorish rulers, right? So whoever put more military power and put down those rebellions, they gained more power. So like I think it was the Almohads, they brought a large fighting force. So what Unc is talking about is like in the beginning, when those Africans was just used as frontline warriors for the Berbers and the Arabs. But over time, they started to bring their own forces into Spain, and they started to gain a little bit more power. I think the last, if I'm not correct,
Boabdil?
No, I think the last Moorish sheriff or governor.
Got some breaking out of Roswell, right?
Huh?
Boabdil?
What you said? What?
He was the last one, the last king.
What was his name?
Boabdil. He was the
last Moorish governor.
Yep. He was the last one. Queen Isabella and
now,
King
just released a picture of that guy you see on your screen, 30-year-old Dwayne Tyrone.
Somebody watching TV, yo.
Yeah, somebody got move that. Move that.
My bad.
Yeah, they gave over. He gave the keys to what was the city?
Granada.
It was Granada, the Kingdom of Granada. Okay. Yeah, I think they had and in Italy they had erected goddamn what you call it? The statues of the last more strongholds. You know what I mean? And they actually had pictures of statues depicted actual Africans.
I'll let you in. You in. Hey, you know, like they did an old movie back in the day, right? You ever seen that shit? Like an old movie about the Moorish Empire and shit. It is way back in the day, and they had the last nigga as actually a black dude.
Sidney Poitier.
That was him.
Yep, they had him with a wig on.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I played Othello in high school, and I just wanted to say, like, that goes back to what Ak was saying about, you know, the Moors being warriors. Like Othello, if you ever like study the play, he's a Venetian. Well, when I played him, I had him be the last Venetian general of Spain, you know. So, you know, Shakespeare even knew about it.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? They and another thing is what you call what the Europeans did a lot, and I'm not taking nothing away from the Moors, but a lot of what the Europeans did was the African was the most
evil.
No, the state like he looked at more different or more foreign than anybody else. So a lot of times they will play up the African Moors more than they would, you feel me? Because he looked at more foreign. You know what I mean? He was more alien looking because of his features than anybody else. He was the most exotic, I say that.
Stand out like a mug.
Yeah, they stood out more. You feel me?
And wouldn't they place like strategically though, like in like buffer zones though?
Yeah, definitely. That's the point we making. You feel me?
Yes. In order, you know, so they doing a lot of the killing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So of course they gonna have a sharp memory of these black exotic looking niggas.
Because they was the ones they was directly in conflict with.
Exactly. And then you forget about the coach, like they just the football team. You forget who actually the head coach and the owners. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that a lot of that stuff where the Moors are black, you know what I mean, or that's a direct memory from the damn people. You know what I mean? That's who they was fighting. That's who they seen on the ground. You feel me? Exactly. Like makes a good point that, like, he say who financed them. You feel me? Like, who gave the money? Who, you know what I mean? That's how you know who was in charge. You feel me? But yeah, they definitely
writing that check.
Yeah, they was writing that check, like, you know what I mean? But all of those, like them caliphs and them, they brought armies all of the time. That's another thing that people don't talk about. You know what I mean? Those buying armies, like purchasing slave armies and stuff like that. Like the Turks did it, you know what I mean? that's just what they was doing. You know what I mean? So we just got caught up in that shit.
Even the author Voltaire writes about when he was on a merchant ship back in the day, right? And when he was on a merchant ship, a bunch of Moors had jumped on the ship, and he said that these black people fought like tigers, and their leader was a hideous Negro. Like he literally said so. Like I'm like, oh my God, like they got he got ran up on by the Barbary pirates. Yep. He was around the Barbary when this happened.
Hey, is there any truth to I think I heard Brother Larry talk about it. He was talking about it was a Moorish captain.
No, I don't listen to Larry, boy.
I know it could be, it's up the question. But he was saying like
Larry ain't never had a source,
he was saying like the name Admiral come from a Moorish dude that was
Admir.
Yeah, he was like dominant in the seas.
Boy, give me the thing, yo, give me control, Joe, so I can
why was he a Moor?
No, I think he just happened to be one. Like yeah, right. You see, you heard of a Dr. Ben?
Yeah.
Hey, Chef, let me get the joint. Hold on, Adrian, real quick. Let me share my screen, yo.
Okay.
We talked.
Sosa, you got
what I gotta do?
The screen share.
How I do it?
I'm swearing mess with y'all late tonight, yo. I'm gonna show the source and play this them out of here, yo.
You go to screen share, and then you put on multiple participants. You see it yet?
Share screen, allow the little allow participants too.
Yeah.
All right, try it now.
You gotta be smarter than the Zoom, yo.
Huh?
All right.
You good, right?
I'm good. Here, I'm gonna put this right here so I can we can't talk too long here without a source, man. And it's also not even about always having a source. It's about having a source, a vetted source, all right? A credible source. All right, like the mailbag, that right there is just a blog, yo. It'll lead you to the damn truth, maybe. All right, but that ain't how we do it. So right here, I'm gonna go to the let me share the screen. All right. Hold on. Show you how we do it. We stay in homework mode. We definitely stay in homework mode. So I like the University of Cambridge, right? All right. Okay, but even with the University of Cambridge, that's not even original source. The original source is here. Here you go. Intergroup violence. This is the Journal of Nature. Subscribe to this. You had to pay that dough, but we paid that dough, so we belong to it. Intergroup violence amongst early Holocene hunter-gatherers of West Turkana and Kenya. All right, you can read the work on that. All right, I ain't logged in, so yeah, you subscribe, $199. There y'all go. The fellas know I bargain hunt when it comes. I've been doing it so long, I done figured out how to bargain hunt on the motherfucker, right? But let's go back to Cambridge real quick. All right, so evidence of prehistoric massacre extends, evidence of prehistoric massacre extends the history of warfare. All right, so this might sound crazy, but set out to the ancestors, right? They stood their ground and fought for theirs. Shout out to that they really wasn't soft, that they gave the world a glimpse into how to fight and why to fight. Simple as that, yo. So, they teach you the docileness of your culture. You know what I'm saying? They teach you, they wasn't trying to fight, they wasn't. No, they put that into your head. So you think you always got to be the one to get slapped around. That's not who we was. We built kingdoms and empires, right? And when building kingdoms and empires, there's going to be death and bloodshed. Simple as that, yo. They never teach you that, yo. Me and Sosa watched this documentary,
Chef, know the documentary that me and you talked about as far as dramatic tribes. That was super dope, right? I watched all that shit. Sosa know we talked about Japan. And watch this, Sosa. So after they fought each other for 100 years, right? Killing each other. What's the next thing they did when they ain't had nobody else to kill? What'd they do?
Go find somebody else.
And who was they trying to go get? You remember?
China.
But what happened?
Oh, they over. Well, yeah, Korea wasn't hearing that shit. Goddamn.
Yeah, wasn't hearing it. See?
Oh, y'all talking about that Netflix documentary, right?
Yeah, that's
Japan.
Yeah, Samurai. Yeah.
Yeah, man. They just kept on killing each other. There was so many Diamos betraying this one.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. But what happened at the end, yo? Did you get what happened at the end? Did you get it? They got unified. So you only get you only gonna unify, yo, through some bloodshed on that during those time periods, bro.
All that crazy shit, they end up unifying all Japan. If they would have never done that, they would still be warring tribes over there.
Yep, tripping.
Easily get picked off. Would have easily got picked off by another unified force.
Yeah, easy picked up. Okay, so let's do this real quick. Let me unshare my screen, right? And I want y'all to hear this. All right, let's see what the anthropologists have to say on the subject. So we gave y'all two sources. We gave you the initial source, a journal of Nature, right? Then we go to Cambridge, right? And they have some scholars speaking on the subject matter. So we're not just, making it up. We easing ourselves into the realm of scholarship. Now let's listen up closely. Here we go.
Warfare or intergroup aggression. And the reason the issue is disputed is that among hunter-gatherer societies today, or what they're called small-scale societies, intersocietal warfare is rare. And some scholars argue that, in fact, it was not part of what people did in antiquity. So this is an unresolved matter in both ethnography and prehistory. So one would say, well, the only thing you have to do is actually find the remains, and if there are no remains of warfare, it means it wasn't there. But that's very difficult to establish, because if you have communities that actually have no cemeteries and have no settled conditions, so the chances that you will find the remains of a fight, of a war, of an attack, are very, very remote. So that makes Nataruk extraordinarily special, because for whatever reasons, the people were killed and they fell in the shallow waters of a lagoon, or they were left in the shallow waters of a lagoon, and they were preserved, their bodies were preserved. So we have an instant, a glimpse of something very rare to preserve. West Turkana is a fascinating place, and we know about it because they have found such important and famous hominin fossils there, also Miocene apes. And in that, we started working in an area to the southwest of Lake Turkana, that we found that there is an extraordinary record of the late Pleistocene, early Holocene, high lake stand, when the lake was indeed much bigger than it is today. So this new place where we found the back of a skull, I'd never been before, no, but none of us had been before, and we said, well, does this place have a name? And the Turkana said, well, it's called Nataruk. So we found the remains of at least 27 people at Nataruk, and of those skeletons, 12 were pretty complete or partially complete in situ as they had died. And in those, 10 out of those 12 have evidence of having been killed violently. That first skull that we saw, the back of it, was actually lying prone, lying on its belly. And when it got to the face was buried in the sediments. When we removed the face from the sediments, we saw it was also crushed in here. And the lesions are very clear that it was a sharp force, blunt instrument that hit him in the front of the face and hit him so hard that this part of the skull is pushed inwards and this part came outwards. And then he was hit on the side of the head so hard that the mouth moved, but only the top, not the bottom. And in doing so, he cracked the neck. And that man just fell and lied. As he fell in the waters of the lagoon, he remained. Another one that was Fran and Dennis who excavated, they called me because it was cemented in lake sediment, so it was very, very hard to get out. And again, it was prone, lying like this, with the feet higher than the head. And when we got to the head and we cleaned it, and he had an obsidian, the point of an arrow still stuck on the head. And with that, we said, okay, let's go slowly and look very carefully at all these skeletons that are coming out.
We live in a world greatly affected by warfare. And it's not surprising that archaeologists and anthropologists have taken a great interest in what might be the history of war. For some, that history may only be as old as the first civilizations and the first cities and nations. For others, it goes back to the beginnings of farming, when people had resources to defend and territories to protect. So the issue of whether hunter-gatherers engaged in warfare, whether it's part of human nature going back into our evolutionary past, is an important one. And that's where Naturuk is so critical, because it shows that hunter-gatherers did engage in something very similar to war. So why should hunter-gatherers fight? Well, just like any other society, there's always competition for resources. Those resources might be women, they might be water, they might be access to game and fish, and perhaps in Naturuk's case it is all of those. So even though they may not own property and resources, there are still things to fight for. Some may be surprised by Naturuk that it shows a violent past and hunter-gatherers. Others may feel that it confirms their views that human nature can be violent and aggressive. In practice, of course, it's neither. Humans have a history that is both full of warfare, but also full of cooperation and sacrifice.
Yeah, so, that's that fire right there, man. Y'all might not know it, but that's that fire right there. Yeah. So, humans ain't all warfare, right? We're a place of cooperation too. And they just taught it to us wrong, man. They taught like we was always cooperating, things was always buddy, chimmy. It's not the truth. That's not the real anthropological study. That's misinformation. And I just can't do it on my watch. So I just want to make sure we get clear pictures. You want to add something to that, Sosa?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point is like, if it was done like that, you would never get these big empires. Like in order to have a big empire, you got to be able to absorb other populations, and not just absorb them, you got to be able to stop rebellions. You know what I'm saying? Because, because you're taking over different territories, people gonna always try to rise up and rebel. So you gotta be strong enough and sometimes fierce, you know what I'm saying, and serious about that business to suppress that rebellion. And then you're gonna keep going further and further out and expanding. Like, yeah, so I mean, it's just all part of the game.
I gotta take my scholarship in.
Yeah, but that's all part of the process. It's all part of the process of growing and learning. Like I said, we came into the game loving our particular, our particular scholars. Some of them we had to let go, some of them we had to update. You feel me?
Yep. So that's who I'll be leaning on the majority of the time, because like, I mean, I know like in a lot of academic circles, if you a Black person and you trying to and you trying to talk about African history, you use black scholars, they'll be like, oh, you just be the Afrocentrist. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me use the greatest British Africanist there is, who's Basil Davidson. So when they try to be like, where'd you get this from? I'll be like, Basil Davidson, a white man. They be like, oh.
Hit her with the hit her with the reverse psychology. I got you.
Yeah, that shit ain't work over here though. Yeah, we embrace good scholarship over here, man. Good information. Don't matter what, because you can be black and selling a bunch of bullshit. We done been through that. So here's a good one for you. We don't lean on our scholars, yo. We stand on their shoulders, yo. There's a difference. When you lean on somebody, you need help. Nah, we don't necessarily need your help. We got the tools, right, that y'all didn't have. So we're gonna stand on your shoulders. That way, as we stand on your shoulders, we can see what you couldn't see based off your limited tools. So remember, they would have to drive to a library. You don't even gotta drive to a library no more, yo. You can access your public library, you know what I'm saying, from the comforts of your home if you want to. You can go to any Carleton University website and get into their papers. Yeah, I just went to Cambridge for y'all. I've been beating dudes up with Cambridge and Harvard and Yale. You know how long I've been doing this? Right. I you know what I'm saying? We gonna deal with the experts. So anybody can do this, man. That's not, matter of fact, Chef gave me a perfect opportunity this morning. I was like, okay, I'm gonna show Chef don't use them damn blogs. Cause they titled that shit crazy, didn't they, Chef? That was crazy how they titled that motherfucker. That was funny how they titled it, right?
Yeah, Chef stepped away, but yeah.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Oh,
yeah, I'm saying it was funny how they titled this shit, right?
Oh yeah, the race war.
Yeah.
Attracting readers. But most of the articles be like that, even if they're true, they'll hit you with the flim flam in the beginning, and you'll think it's saying something else, and then a lot of people don't get to the conclusion. And it'd be the opposite of what the title say, but a lot of people here see what they want and then stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got when they explain, because they didn't have the DNA, but when they explained the anatomy of them, they believed that they was from two different groups.
Yeah, that's how it was. I remember Steven Pinker was like, remember the Iceman that they found that was frozen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did blood samples, right? Mm-hmm. He had like 4 different types of blood on him. One on his tip, arrow tip. You know what I'm saying? Like he was getting it in, you know what I'm saying, before he finally succumbed to an arrow shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, that shit's crazy. He was getting
wow. Yeah, but the whole point of acting like Africans wasn't getting it in or wasn't as violent as other people, those myths and stuff. Like, I can honestly say, like, when I still like Van Sertima. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Yeah, I like him.
So, I mean, but I watched the community straight go ham on Van Sertima every chance they get. They make this accomplished guy.
No, not me.
As accomplished as he is, right? Niggas go to town on Van Sertima.
Oh, you being nice today, Chef. I'm not gonna let you get away with it. I was
I tell y'all all the time. I said, okay, other than what's the name?
They came before Columbus.
They came before Columbus, yeah. And the golden age of the Moors, right?
There ain't no such thing.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm like, yo, but like most people got into Egypt through Van Sertima. Like, yeah. Just think about that. Egypt revisited. He did his thing.
I liked the golden age of the Moor too. Like that was pretty good.
What?
No such
I liked it too.
I ain't like
Yeah, I got into Egypt through Diop, Cheikh Anta Diop. That was like one of my first books. Like that's how I got.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Van Sertima had all of their articles and shit in Egypt Revisited. So if you read Egypt Revisited, you'll go out and get everybody else's work because he had Obanga, he had excerpts from Obanga in them in there, like everything. He compiled like all of their shit in Egypt Revisited. Shit was dope. Like it's still dope. Like there's no way you can't read that and get something out of that.
Down the other day, yo, I was like, come on, man. I said if he was still alive today, he would have changed his stance on a lot of issues because he was an anthropologist. He had a doctorate degree in anthropology. You're like, nah.
No, that was Ben. That was Ben.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
That was Black Panther.
Y'all arguing me down. Can I get a one in the chat room? Everybody remember.
I never said that. I agree. That nigga was brilliant.
That was Black Panther. That was Black Panther.
That wasn't me.
That was Black Panther.
I argue over Dr. Ben wasn't shit.
See?
Not Van Sertima.
You know what I'm saying? There go Dr. Ben. See?
He wasn't a real doctor. I'm saying that what's his name really was, he was on that level. And that's the point that I always argue. I said Dr. Ben made all kind of crazy assertions, and the academic community never came against him because he wasn't a part of the academic community. Van Sertima was. That's why he got that fire back from him.
Chef said he wasn't a real look, man.
Can I say something, Chief? Chef. Okay.
It's a damn chief.
Actually, like, even though that Dr. Ben didn't have any degrees,
I ain't listening to Chef with that shit.
What you saying? He did have all of them degrees? What are you saying?
He did have a degree, yo.
And what?
He had
nigga.
He had
That's my favorite, yo. Him and Clark is my two favorites, yo. What you want me to do, yo? I don't care. Go ahead, brother. I'll cut you off. Mess with you.
It's all right. Dr. Ben had like a bunch of honorary degrees, but I will say this. Dr. Ben, even though he had no degrees, he was an adjunct professor at Cornell University. And Cornell University is Ivy League. So he was still a part of the academic community. He wrote a lot of books.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dr. Ben is he's the real deal.
That's a good point, bro. There you go.
He did make some
amen and over there.
Yeah, man.
Amen.
But Dr. Ben is still a scholar.
Appreciate you, Wiley. See what I'm saying? Yeah, they argue me down, yo.
Nah, I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
I earned evolution from that dude, yo. That shit. Hold on. I'm gonna tell
you. So what?
So, cause I'm just saying that part of his game was tight, yo. Come on, yo. He just
wasn't. So if he sourced
Darwin.
his evolutionary shit, you saying he was tight in that because he used so when you use the source, because you write in the book, everybody supposed to say, yo, tight in that because you use credible source.
No, they're supposed to say put us in the right direction with credible sources. That's all. Because I'm not the expert at all. I'm not, I don't proclaim to be that.
Right. So was Dr. Ben an expert in evolution and all of that? No. He just sourced the right goddamn material. He got it right for once. Yeah. You feel me?
Historians.
The nigga got it right.
Historian, in order to be
a John Henry Clark book this weekend. I ain't messing with y'all niggas, man.
No, John Henry Clark was tight.
No, we just talking about John Henry Clark. Yeah, he official.
In terms of
what you talking about? You ain't never heard me say nothing about Clark. Man,
no, we saying he didn't fuck up as much as Dr. Ben.
No, we ain't. Yeah, y'all dogged him. Corey dogged him with that lecherous debate. You dogged him.
He wasn't really a part of that debate, though.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Everybody be quiet. Watch this. Go ahead, Corey.
Oh, Corey?
Don't say
Corey.
Go ahead, Corey. I mean, my
Corey
fault.
Not on here.
No, but my fault. Go ahead, Chef.
No, I'm saying Dr. Ben wasn't really a part of that debate.
Ben. No,
I mean, John Henry Clark really wasn't a part of that debate, yo.
Go ahead. What?
Yo, he wasn't even arguing. He was just up there styling on them people.
Nah. See?
Yeah, because he already said, I don't debate them. They ain't my equal. He already said they ain't my equal.
Right, he was up there just, he wasn't really debating that shit.
He was, yo. He was the one debating.
No, he wasn't. They was going at Bernal, yo.
Hey, we need to do a show
Bernal had to defend his work.
It was
two. We need to do a show on that debate. We need to recap that debate.
Recount that debate, yo. It was 2 against 2, yo. You tripped.
I'm saying we need to do a show on that debate. Like, go back over it now, real time, and see who got what right.
Hold on. I'm gonna get you something slick. That's what Clark said in that debate. This is
Lord have mercy.
He said writing. He said the oldest Greek writing first is the Iliad. He right.
So?
And he gave the date. He would say, and then he say, well, wait a minute. You got African documents writing at 3,500 BCE. He was right. He was saying, like, so what are you saying here? And he was right because the point is that the Greeks, you know what I'm saying, they had an affinity towards the Egyptians. That's a fact, dude. As a matter of fact, Greek records say this. It's the quote unquote German Egyptology school that turned all the shit around. And that's why they don't like Mark Burnell, because he named it this. He said you got damn, yo. Hold on, it's called the damn boy.
His book is called Pseudo.
Yeah, they did all that. Let me show you this right there. Hold on, let me.
Martin Bernal.
Yeah,
that shit up.
Yeah, and I'll fight that to the end. That's the only. I'm not.
Cause you like pseudo shit,
No. It's called. Hold on, man.
Pseudo. If Martin Bernal was pseudo.
Yeah, they say got pseudo history though. They do. I was heartbroken. But hold on, he said. I
teared up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I done brought 3 of them motherfucking 4 of your motherfucking, but fuck wrong with you? Let me stop, yo. With the white boys got me out here with the pseudo killers on my motherfucking head.
Hey, it's hard to go against a white boy to stand up with black people. Man, like, if the white boy writes something in the favor of black person, like, you almost gotta accept that, man. Like, yo. Shit.
But he lived in Africa, so he was an African advocate.
Let me show you how I rock down in my house. Look, can y'all see this? Y'all see this? The tape, see the table?
Mm-hmm.
Look what I got on my table. Look, I got The Illusion of God's Presence. I got Black Athena, Volume 3. I got an archaeological survey about the Meretic. You know what I'm saying? And cemetery. All right. Yeah, I mean, I got that big boy shit, but I got this here though, Mark Burnell shit, yo. So I never, because when I read the work and check the sources, yo, the shit line up with the Journal of Nature and the Journal of Science and all that shit. So I'm thinking, yo, it's a term he used that got them niggas mad at him, yo. Hold on, yo, I'm gonna read it because it's crazy, yo. I know why they mad at the nigga, because he really beat the white boys up.
Lord have mercy.
Look, yo, I
might go watch it again tonight. That shit doesn't.
Oh man, look up Martin Bernal. He's a pseudo historian.
No.
If he was a pseudo historian, then Mary Lefkowitz and the whole Egyptology classical community wouldn't even deal with him. They would have treated.
They don't deal with him.
Yes, they do.
That was the point. They.
Nah, yo.
No, they talked about that was big in the
See, I read, the advantage I got is I read Lefkowitz's response. You didn't. And then I got the Black Athena fights back. He came back with a sword on the head. So
and they ain't accept that shit either.
No, they ain't never heard him say, we can show
he was already debunked.
Pull it up.
Debunked by who?
By Lefkowitz and them.
No.
Yo, y'all are in La La Land.
Yeah, I'm gonna be La La Land on this one, yo.
That shit, if he would have won, he wouldn't be classified as a pseudo historian. And Black Athena is classified as pseudo history. Look the shit up.
Yeah.
So all this, he won in y'all minds.
Let me see
because,
what he got.
The black. He talking about
book, yo, nigga. You just got to ups on that. You ain't never read that shit.
Why would I read a whole pseudo shit?
My shit.
If I look it up and that shit say it's pseudo, why would I waste a whole 2 weeks of reading.
Yo, he got a 4-volume set, and he respond back and right.
And you wasted all your time.
No, it actually take you. Get Black Athena. Listen, this ain't. We might do this on the show, right? Get Black Athena writes back. Go to the claim that he claimed he got. He debunked it with, and let's see. We could do that.
That could be a whole debate right there.
We do the whole debate right now.
Yeah, I'm saying we can do that. Do a show on it. I get it.
He's fighting whether he was that white boy was pseudo or not. You ain't never.
I got it.
You ain't never.
You gonna make me lose my. Yo, you gonna make me lose my thought. Come on, Shaq. Hold on. You gonna make me lose my thought.
People said Van
You gonna make me lose my thought. Yo, don't make me lose my thought, yo.
No, when them white people said Van Sertima was pseudo, you let that shit go.
No, I didn't. No, I fought for it. No, the Aryan model. It's called the Aryan model, right? And damn, what's the other model? The Aryan model and the ancient model. So the ancient model, this is all Bernal did. I don't care what
Wuja, click that link, Wuja.
Yeah, you got
in here talking crazy.
I'm not.
Wuja, come clean.
You're not here talking crazy. On that, yo. Listen, you can look in the Greek records, just like we read about. Hold on. Hey, Sosa. Did we not read a Greek historian say the Egyptians had nappy head and dark skin? Did he not?
Who said that?
We read it.
Yeah, Herodotus.
Oh, yo, he said
but
that.
It depends on the translation, though. He actually says Melanchores, and that means bronze. And he said they had curly hair. Curly hair is like woolly hair. So, we gotta kind of study the language a tad bit.
No,
deal with what he said, Deal with what he said.
You dropped the link, Chef, in the chat.
Oh no, let me go do it.
I don't know, but nigga, I don't speak Greek. Nigga, he's slick. Nigga, you got to source that one. Go get that.
you was just about to brush him off, though.
No, I wasn't. I'm going to answer him. I'm not going to brush it off. That was a good point he made. I don't brush off good points.
Let's get the critique. It says Black Athena has been heavily criticized by academics. They often highlight the fact that there is no archaeological evidence for ancient Egyptian colonies in mainland Greece or the Aegean Islands.
See?
How we stand with that?
Why do I feel bad with that statement, yo? Because nigga, he never said that shit. See?
That's how you can tell when somebody ain't read nothing.
Yeah, yo, he ain't never said
it was Egyptian. Wikipedia. It's for the Wikipedia, so he ain't said that.
No, you know what he said? He said the Greeks said they was a colony of the damn Egyptians. He ain't say it. Damn, he just brought up. I get it now. They wanted him to have DNA. They want him to have archaeology back. He just say, yo, this is in the text, yo. What you talking about? I'm just telling you what they said. No. So y'all gonna believe the Germans over the Greeks, right? Yeah, man.
Academic reviews of Bernal's work generally rejects his heavy reliance on ancient Greek mythology, speculative assertions, and handling of archaeological, linguistic, and historical data.
Oh, so he used. Oh, see, okay. So let's slow that down and make it make sense, yo.
Basically, he ain't know what he was talking about. Is what he's saying.
Now we're at the cusp of it now.
All right, but look, it said genetic and archaeogenetic studies have since failed to detect any measurable African or Levantine ancestry in ancient skeletons from Greece and Crete.
Nigga ain't never say that, yo.
Thus refuting Bernal's hypothesis of Egyptian or Phoenician colonization of Greece.
What? So you hear how they did them? Yo, what's Wikipedia on you? I'm gonna turn their ass up tonight. Bro.
I'm on Black Athena.
All right, if my name ain't Uncle Keck the God Killer, I'm on these white boy asses tonight, yo. Watch this. Where you at? Where you reading that? Okay.
Black Athena.
First of all, bro. Let me share my screen. Y'all playing with me. Y'all
shit pseudo, yo.
Fuck I was.
He got it all wrong, bro.
Okay, here we go. Where we at, y'all? Hold on. Where we at, y'all? Where we at? Okay. Black Athena, Afrocentric Roots of Past Civilization. It's 3-volume, published in 1987. 9 respectively, is a controversial and pseudo historic book. First of all, hold on. First of all, I do not see a source for that statement. This is you know it not.
What?
That's right. Let me keep going. Book by Mark Brunell proposing alternative hypothesis on the origin of the ancient Greeks and classical civilization. Brunell's thesis is his thesis. Know what the fuck that is? Y'all can look it up.
That don't even make sense. Go ahead.
Discusses the perception of ancient Greece and the relative and relation to Greece, African, and Afro-Asiatic neighbors, especially the ancient Egyptians and Phoenicians, who he believes colonized ancient Greece. No, he did not believe that. Now watch this, and they're gonna back his statement up. Brunell proposes that a change in the Western perception of Greece took place from 18th century onward, and that this change fostered a subsequent denial of Western academia of any significant African and Phoenician influence on Greek civilization.
And that's exactly what Bernal said.
No, right, yeah, but hold on.
So you said,
you cut me off. You can't cut me off because
that's a period right there.
No, it's not a period.
It's about to go on to another goddamn paragraph.
No, we gotta read the part right up here, yo. When
the man was wrong, yo. Why you can't accept it?
No, yo, it said he's proposing an alternative hypothesis on the origin of the ancient Greeks, okay? That's what they say. He's one, okay? What else? Or classical Brunel thesis discussed what? The perception of the ancient Greece in relation to Greeks, African, and Afro-Asian neighbors, especially the ancient Egyptians and Phoenicians, who he believes colonized ancient Greece. Now, Brunel proposed that a change in the Western perception of Greece took place from the 18th century onward, and that this change fostered a subsequent denial of Western academia of any significance of African Phoenician influence on the ancient Greek civilization. Now watch this.
Hold on, stop.
Right.
No, you just read it over.
No, you just did it again. That's why I went back up there and read it.
No, because you just said the ancient model.
In the same fucking place, dog.
You better read what I
read all that shit all over again, yo.
Greece aren't a part of
No, don't you jump in either, yo. You know what he just did? Everybody be quiet. I went back up here and read it again because he stopped me. And when I get back down, he stopped me again. Damn. I'm making a point here. Here's my point. Black Athena has been heavily criticized by academics. There is no fucking citation. And let me click this.
It has been heavily criticized by academics.
It says this is an information page.
We didn't see the academic community come against him.
But rather intended to describe some aspects of Wikipedia.
I gotta go find it.
They do not have it's a citation needed, bro. So won't you supply the citation? Don't cut me off. Let me finish.
All you gotta do is put Murray Lethbridge response in there.
Right. And they often highlight the fact that there is no archaeological evidence for the ancient Egyptian colonies in mainland Greece and Aegean Islands. Academic review of Brunel's work generally reject his heavily reliance on. So this is what he did, yo. So they're rejecting his heavy reliance on ancient Greek mythology, look, speculative assertions, and handling of archaeological linguistics and historical data. The book has been accused that by reopening the 19th century, can't even say it, discourse on race and origin, it has become part of the problem of racism rather than a solution. Really, y'all really believe that, yo, by him saying that he caused it? Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. So now his book caused the problem of racism. Y'all really, man? Nah, I can't.
Roman Greece aren't even a part of European civilizations. That's another thing people don't want to talk about.
You said what? What'd you say?
Rome and Greece, if we go back far enough, they're not even really European civilizations. They should be classified Mediterranean civilization.
Yeah. We talk about that technically.
Yeah, that don't even make sense.
Yeah, it's all Europe. It's still all Europe. What's up with it? Team Osiris in the building. What's up with it, bro?
Oh, there you go. I'm gonna tell you right now. Don't come in here and fuck it up. If you ain't on my side, yo, don't say nothing. I'm telling you, yo, right now, yo.
Yeah, he in the hot seat right now. He can't,
Yeah, if you ain't on my side.
Yeah, he defending the white
Team
people.
Osiris.
He
Yeah, he can't
defending the
really
white
take
people. He holding it down for the crackers.
Hey, Unc, I was rooting for you last night though when y'all was having the discussion last night, man.
Yeah, they had. I was tired as hell. I was like, I couldn't believe Thunder crazy, yo. I ain't listening to Thunder. Yo, Thunder have us all fucked up around here, man.
Team white boy tonight, yo. Yeah, yo ain't kid. Goddamn, Van Sertima get kicked all in his ass every day. But the moment you mention Bernal, this nigga put on all his armor and go to war for him.
He want to go to war against Wikipedia. Like, shit got to go.
Fight Wikipedia over
this nigga gonna die tonight. This nigga gonna die tonight.
That's some bullshit. How y'all just put that, yo? I'm gonna let them have it, yo. I'm gonna let y'all have as funny as a motherfucker. I'm gonna let y'all have that shit, yo.
Van Sertima get kicked all in his ass every day. Come on, man.
Come on, yo.
We just argued over that. You ain't even fight for Dr. Ben that hard, yo.
What?
When I said Dr. Ben wasn't shit, you said one thing. You ain't pull up no swords. You ain't try to defend them. Nothing.
But
you say Martin Bernal bullshit, you go crazy. You cut me off again.
Yo, that's just some bullshit. You can have that one, yo. That's some bullshit.
You know what you doing? You practicing racism, white supremacy.
Y'all nigga crazy.
Yo, he really saying the white boy can't be wrong.
Hey, Wu-Jai, help me out.
Everybody else can be wrong, but not this white boy, yo.
Hey, Wu-Jai, they on some bullshit, yo.
But Rome and Greece shouldn't even be considered a part of European civilization.
I don't even know why you would say that.
Well, Pliny the Elder says that himself.
Who said that?
I disagree, man. Them dudes are Neolithic farmers. They had the SLC shit, bro.
Yo, let that man finish, though.
Hold on, what elder said they wasn't European?
Well, Pliny the Elder, he said.
Oh, Pliny the Elder.
Well, it's called Pliny. His name is actually Pliny.
Pliny the Elder, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Pliny the Elder, he wrote a book that was called Natural History. And this is in book 2. Okay, and I'm just going to read this really, really fast. For it is beyond question that the Ethiopians, i.e. Africans, are burnt by the heat of the heavenly body near them, and are born with a scorched appearance, with curly beard and hair, and that in the opposite region of the world, i.e. Northern Europe, the races have white frosty skins with yellow hair that hang straight, while the latter Northern Europeans are fierce, owning to the rigidity of their climate, but the former, i.e. Africans, are owing to the mobility of their of the mobility of theirs. Okay, I'm at the part now. In the middle of the earth, presumably Italy, owing to the healthy blending of both elements, men are of medium bodily stature with a marked blending, even in the matter of complexion. So the Italians, they considered themselves Mediterranean. They didn't consider themselves like European. That's an entirely different.
No, now let me say this. That was Pliny the Elder was the historian of the 1st century in Rome.
77 AD.
Right, 1st century in Rome, right? That's 1st century. So they didn't even have a concept of Europe. So just because they if they looked at themselves as more regional, then that's completely understandable. Even the continent of Africa wasn't laid out right in a map form with how we see it nowadays. So I don't even think they had the concept of continents back then. That's the 1st century. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but why are people considering Rome and Greece a part of Europe? Because that's fairly new. That's
because it is.
That Martin. That's the thing that Martin Verno was
they didn't
talking
say
about.
they didn't say they weren't part of Europe. They just said that people, the Germanic tribes, were different than them. They didn't really say they was not part of Europe.
They said they were Mediterranean, to be specific.
Yeah, but where the Mediterranean at?
Mediterranean is by the Mediterranean Sea.
No, that's Southern Europe.
Yeah.
That's Southern Europe.
The Balkans is in Europe, bro. The Balkans is in Europe.
Portugal, Spain, Italy, Southern France, and that's Southern Europe, yo.
Yeah, or AKA Far West Asia.
Yeah, that too. You know what I mean? But I mean, you can consider it. I don't have no argument.
Yeah, I like the fact you got some sources. I like that. I like that. Come on.
But saying that they're Mediterranean, that's Southern Europe. Either way you look at it.
Yeah, it could be Southern Europe or Northern Africa. Mediterranean.
Yeah. Egypt and stuff is in
we had a big
don't like that.
Yeah, we had a big Mediterranean conversation.
that Africa, that North Africa is a part of the Mediterranean.
I'm just saying it is what it is. I mean, shit, it's all connecting, people intermingle, shit and shit.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? People migrated from the south, from the Horn, and you know what I'm saying, and mutated. Marcus right there. You know what I'm saying?
Who mutated?
People from the Horn of Africa.
You gonna eat them up. Go ahead, eat them up, yo.
Afro-Asiatic speakers, grain collectors.
You said what? Grain collect what?
Wild grain collectors, Afro-Asiatic speakers. People with E3B. Predominantly.
E3 what?
E3B, E1B1B. Y haplogroup.
What is that?
Haplogroup. You ain't familiar with the haplogroups?
Man, I'm just a historian, man. I ain't got time.
You gotta get into the haplogroup so that they tell the history. They help you learn the history too, though. That's next. So you just put that on you, just load it up for your tool belt and build on that.
So Booja, help out with this
Mark Bernard.
Oh, I tried to with Plady the Elder.
I know. I think a Sarg is heavy.
I can't. I'm just trying to figure. I got a question for this for everybody. Is and this kind of spins off of the other conversation. Is how are groups of people being identified? You know, because I'm hearing biogenetics being called out. I'm hearing I'm hearing geographical places being called out, colors, and biology. So there's like a blend. I'm just wondering, how are people being identified
now or in the ancient
people?
world?
No, period. Like for the sake of identity in conversations, you know. Just period. Because, like, for example, you know, y'all kind of passed it. I forgot what was said, but basically, like, for example, the conversation we had last night, Mediterranean. Somebody mentioned that Egypt was a Mediterranean culture, and so we clarified that last night, that Egypt and all the other ones, because I had named them all actually, they're referred to as Mediterranean cultures based on their proximity to the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah, because Mediterranean can be multicultural.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, there is no Mediterranean culture in that sense. There's several cultures that hug the Mediterranean and use it as a superhighway, which is why they call those cultures Mediterranean cultures. Not that there is a Mediterranean culture, you know. And so I'm just wondering, because somebody was saying that Greeks was not just now was not a European culture or whatever, but Europe is the name that we give the continent, and then, you know. So I don't know. It seems confusing every time these kind of conversations happen, because it's not like a consistent way to identify
Clear it up, Woo.
people.
Slow it down, clear it up.
Because
I gotta ask
the
the
conversation we having.
That's because it's not clear.
I'm kind of confused because we were talking about Rome and Greece.
Yeah, which is a right. So Rome, like, okay, how do you identify a Hellen or a person who's a Greek? Like, you don't identify them.
Well, you was going you were going a little deeper than we were. We were just talking about low
I was always there. Stay right there, yo.
We wouldn't go in that deep. We talking about this Rome.
And you say Helen, and you're talking about the culture that came from Greece.
The Macedonia.
Yeah, the Macedonians. Yeah, that's
yeah, but when you talk about Hellenistic, that's what it.
Well, Hellas, you know.
Yeah. You're talking about the culture.
Right. So I'm saying how, like, when we identify populations of people, all throughout history, the best approach to identify groups of people is by culture and not all the other stuff that get kind of thrown in the mix. Like, for example, nobody identified populations of people by genetics, because the human genome wasn't even mapped to 2003. And all of it's done in, I think, 2013. So nobody was demarcating groups of people based on DNA, anything.
But now we can know.
Yeah, I know, but you can't overlap what we could do today and think it overlays comfortably with the actual demarcation reality in history.
Yeah, but
for example, let me give you for instance, in Kenya,
it tells a clear picture.
No,
it can answer questions that the history can't answer.
No. Listen, no. I'm saying biogenetics definitely helps to inform us on things, but this is the difference. This difference in Kenya, you may have, like, today in Kenya, you may recognize one genetic population of people. A population of people based on their genetics, but within that genetic population, you may actually have 3 distinct cultures, and ethnic labels, like the Kikuyu and the Luo and the Maasai and some others that are in Kenya. They may very well be genetically the same population, but all throughout history and culture and to themselves, they're distinct from one another. So how do we identify people to kind of keep track of them when we want to talk about them all throughout history? Because
I like how you brought up genetics with your question. I say, like,
you cut him off, yo. He was in the middle of very finishing statement. Cut him off.
Yeah, no, I was pretty much. I'm just saying that those people that I named, Maasai, Kikuyu, and Luo, just as an example, they never identified themselves as one genetic population. They always saw themselves as distinct, groups of people, based on what we now call culture. Culture has always been king. So I'm just wondering, why don't we keep that consistency up in all of these types of conversations?
Yo, they fight me, hit tooth and nail. I be like, yo, knock it off. I try.
I like how you brought up, like you said biology. What type of biology you said? You said genetic biology.
I said biogenetics. That's all.
Oh, biogenetics. Well, I would say, like, that's kind of one way that we can identify a culture or ethnic group. There is a term that biologists use, and it's called spatial autocorrelation, right? And spatial autocorrelation means that if you have a people who lived in the same region for like thousands and thousands of years, they were able to like mix in with each other to the point to where they came up with their own ethnic group. And this is like specifically like, how they look. Like, you can tell if you be around like Nigerians long enough, you can tell which one is Yoruba, you can tell which one is Edo. You could distinguish an Anglo-Saxon from what's another European group, an Anglo-Saxon from a Scotsman. you know, or a person from the Netherlands, you know, so that's like one way.
Well, but here's the thing. Those, I mean, a lot of things serve as proxies, but you know, to kind of talk about the people as a people, we can't do that. Like, there's no gene in all of the human genome that's gonna mark for a particular culture. Like if I, you know, I'm just gonna name a gene. If I have a gene SL5119, that's not gonna tell you that I'm an American by culture. You know, I'm an American culture member. There's no such thing. So biogenetics definitely helps us in many areas, but I'm saying when we're talking about stuff like that, I'm just asking the question because when I'm hearing these conversations, I'm hearing a blend of different layers of identity, and it kind of messes it all up, which is why these conversations keep coming up.
Shit, they be muddy in the water, yo. That's what I said. We need to see if we just was trying to group human beings on one using let three groups, all human beings on planet Earth, then you would have to say African, Asian, right, and then maybe Oceania. That'd be the three groups. Then if you wanted to switch that and add 4 groups, then the shit would change. So that's the point, that however you trying to group the shit gonna change. There is no set nothing, right? So my thing is at the end of the day, it would have to be culture. Because in America, African Americans, like, who the fuck is an African American? Like, what do they look like? If you group this by skin color, then you're gonna have 4 different groups of African Americans by skin color. Okay, how about grouping by hair? 4 or 5 different groups. Okay, by genetics, right? Then you're gonna see how we coalesce. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You'll have a group over here, you use genetics right here, over here. Like, so then that's my whole point, yo. Like, it's about culture. And African Americans share a shared ancestry and a shared culture, despite their genetics. Despite some people having 50% European, 20% European. You know what I'm saying? I sent y'all my DNA test, right? So come on, man. That's what I'm trying to say. And it'd be like some amateur shit when niggas be making video talking that talk, yo.
Yeah, when it come to genetics, it's all about traits and what's common in which population. That's all it is.
Build on that.
You said what now?
Build on that.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, what's common in certain populations for us, like certain populations are prone to certain diseases. You know what I'm saying? Just for instance, like, it's common for most African Americans, you know, it's a dude from us coming from places in West Africa, it's common for us to have sickle cell trait. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. Just different little minute things they tell you, you know what I'm saying, leave traces of certain things in populations. Or even like a certain population might have a certain dental, you know what I'm saying, morphology, you know, it's due to what they eat, you know what I'm saying?
But
right,
just to add to that.
That's a good point, because when we talk about Mediterranean, right, and you say, well, if Egypt is a part of Mediterranean, even like he just mentioned the food, right? Those people share the same type of food. Right.
Yeah.
So Egypt is even included in that.
Just like, I'm just like what like Dr. Soy Kenyatta say. I'm just reading some of his work. He was saying, like, certain groups, even though they, you know, origins come from somewhere else, you have certain groups that form culture there. You know what I'm saying? Certain areas that they form, making it that regional culture. You know what I'm saying?
But I just wanted to add to that though. Even with genetic population, like when we say genetic populations, we're talking about a population of people that share have a lot of overlapping similar genetic blueprint or imprint, right? So it stands to reason, it's just a natural consequence of that that those people, because of their proximity to one another, they're going to mate and reproduce among each other. And so
the sexual selection and all that, yeah.
Right. And so whatever cultural impression they have on each other, their particular culture, it is 99% highly likely that their offspring are going to continue that same culture because of the proximity. And so that's why these are all proxies for these things. But I'm saying, when we're like going through the timeline and talking about different places and things like that, we got to keep that in mind. That culture really is the identifying marker for how we distinguish human. Because right now, okay, for example, the human, all living human beings right now, almost 8 billion people, we're all of the same species, but we distinguish out of these 8 billion humans on the planet, we distinguish groups from each other based on culture. That's the one consistent thing that's always been done all throughout history is culture. And now we define culture. We got the different elements, language being the main one, weaponry, food production, we can go through the list, but culture is that litmus that allows us to demarcate one group of humans from another group, etc. Not anything else. Now we have the tool of genetics. We can actually just observe the consequence of like this culture is likely going to have a certain genetic impression because of the proximity and obviously people reproducing within the same area.
Yeah, and diet too, what they eat.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Because nowadays it's different, but prior to fairly recent, the food was a good indicator because people didn't really import from very far. Now we do because we got planes and stuff. But the food, multiple cultures who live adjacent to each other may have the same diet because obviously the same food is going to grow in the same climate and sun exposure and area and stuff like that. And Africa is a perfect example. Africa is so diverse, but yet underneath that, a lot of similarities are found there.
So I want to throw these sliders in real quick. So when you talk about that that mark day gene they got to stop from malaria, right? Talk about that, right?
Yeah, sickle cell trait. Yeah.
You also find that in parts of Asia too. So what I like to always distinguish is that you might find some groups that are predisposed to certain diseases based off the food, but given the same circumstance with another group, they would suffer from the same things like high blood pressure and what else Black people suffer from a lot? Diabetes, right? But that's not because we African Americans. That's because of our diet. And somebody spoke on that. So there is no race-specific medicine, and they still try that today. Some doctors do, but with that, they're just wrong. And they realize that they really can't do that. And they actually tried to do a clinical trial on that, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Alice Robbins. I mean, not Alice Robbins. What's the sister? Dorothy Robbins. She a Black sister. She an activist on that subject.
Yo, you shit loud. It's like you're at a club, yo.
My bad.
Good God Almighty. Anyway, they had a high blood pressure medicine study, and they was trying to sell that to Black people, but they realized, no, that's not it. So that's my point. Anyway, hey, read this. Matter of fact, I'm not even talking to my comrades anymore until they read special edition, National Geographic. Get this, National Geographic.
That one before we don't went to that road. Yeah.
They won't read it though. Won't nobody read it? They won't read it.
I posted that. I posted that when it first came out to argue in the Amra Squad group about so people can really know to stop playing, stop using genetics in when talking about the social construct of race and stuff.
They won't do it.
Say that again, Wuja.
I said I had posted that a long time when it first came out in an argument where I keep seeing people
2018.
blur,
Hold
yeah,
on, let him finish.
blurring the social
You just made a
construct,
good point.
the social construct of race with biology, biogenetics, genetics, DNA. You can't do it. So I showed, you know, I asked the question because when that first came out, not that many people were hip to it. So I showed those two women separated, right? And I did a poll. I asked people would they consider them, you know, what would they consider them, and so on and so forth. And I demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt that based on lookership, they had no idea that those sisters were twins. That those two women were twins. No idea. And I proved my point just by doing a series of polls in the group. So, but I just want to say something since it's quiet. People, somebody even in the chat says something that culture is not scientific. There are tools that we have to use, and the tools will change depending on what we have to deal with. Obviously, genetics is more scientific than culture. And so you wouldn't like use a hammer to crack open to bake a cake and crack open eggs. So we have to know what tools to use and when. So I just want to make sure people understand that not to over exaggerate and think everything must be scientific and it can't be social, or because anthropology is a different thing. All the different disciplines under anthropology.
Yeah, you gotta go with social. It says science today tells us that the visible differences between people are accidents of history. They reflect how our ancestors dealt with the sun exposure and not much else. Yeah, I'll drop that right there. But before I argue genetics, race ever again about Egyptians, read the magazine first.
What the hell the Egyptians got to do with this?
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
No, it actually didn't, because that's been a fucking conversation for the last 8 months.
They ain't even talking about no.
Don't gotta be. I'm just throwing it in there.
We was on Martin Bernard, but we
Right,
split off Martin Bernard.
Right, I know.
Egypt in there like
the hot seat.
it's an obsession at this point. Yo.
That's not what we talking about, but no, see, you moved the
We
crowd.
been got. What was we talking about Bernal about? We wasn't talking about the race of the Egyptians.
Trying to establish
Egypt.
Bernal
was
trying to
talking about
establish
some
Egypt
cultural
contact.
shit.
Yeah, Egypt contact with Greece. If they had influence over there in Greece.
And no, then my main man said that the Greeks that the other Europeans wasn't Greeks. That's what it was.
So you saying your magazine is saying that the Egyptians could be black and white?
No, the magazine
at the same time from the same mother.
No, the magazine is showing you how to view race.
No, because on the front of that magazine, when you keep holding up, you got twin sisters. One looks black, one looks white. So you're saying the Egyptians can come from the same mother, and one could be black and one could be white.
I ain't do that, but thank you, for saying it, because you just good one. That's a
That
great.
don't even make sense. That don't even make sense.
No, wait. My son is dark skinned and my daughter's my complexion. How?
No, but we talking about a whole population.
Yeah, no. I'm saying
you talking about individuals. You know what I mean?
Imagine
we got an explanation for that.
People that have a dark skinned son and a light skinned daughter. 30,000.
No, what? That's individual. So you saying you don't look like your immediate family?
I'm saying my son looked more like his mother. My daughter looked more like me.
But regardless, I'm saying, like, is skin color that, like, are we like this racial construct is real that we use today?
No, we ain't talking about race. We talking about his own family. They will belong to the same race, right?
No, what I'm saying is no, but look.
No,
Sheffrin. Wait, listen to what you said. Listen, okay, that's a good thing. Wait, listen to what you said. You said because they're from the same family, they would belong to the same race. But that's what I was just saying. I tested that, and that doesn't work, because on the cover of that magazine, I posted a picture of the two women separated. That's when they were young. But I posted them now, how they look now, and I posted them separately, and nobody identified them as being the same race. No matter what race that they thought, they didn't identify them as being in the same race. But the moment after that,
genetics will.
But the moment I told everybody that these are twin sisters, everybody just vanished. Like nobody could say anything.
And that proves the point that we were saying, Wuja. Genetics can tell a story that culture and shit can't tell.
Yeah, you can't.
So it's definitely useful.
Yeah, you can't look at
see,
the relationship, but when that genetics come, you go, okay, yeah, they are.
That shit gonna clear it up.
Right. So but
if you think them West Africans was Egyptians, that genetic shit gonna clear it up for you.
No, that's
oh no, they had the same God.
No, that's the wait. See, no, that's the perfect.
Here could have been. It could have been the same thing. Take that DNA.
No, see, that's the perfect example that I'm saying is that genetics will inform us. Wait a minute, I'm saying genetics will inform us of certain things, but we cannot overlap it with other things. Like with those two women. Genetics will tell us the proximity of their relationship, and we'll find out that they are twins. They come from the same parents and everything. But without that genetic information, everybody that I polled did not consider those two women of the same race. And by that, you would assume that they grew up differently and come from a different background and different environmental and social pressures and be different. But yet they come from the same household, same two parents, and they happen to be twins. So genetics will inform us of many things, but we can't pretend that genetics will answer questions that genetics just can't answer.
Yeah, genetics can't answer lookership. That's a fact.
Brother,
you can't look at a motherfucker and tell what their genetics are.
So a West African genetically will not be Egyptian. But see, here's the thing. When you say Egyptian, you're talking about a country. Then you're saying West African. Now you done spread it all out to a whole big region. And so we got to compare apples to apples and oranges to orange. Like earlier, I heard somebody literally say Asian or what they said. Somebody said Asian and then white. They name a country and then said a color. I'm like, man, at the very least, we got to be consistent. You can't say a color and then a country. And then, or even a language file, language groups and stuff.
Hey, explain that picture right there, Woo.
Everything is all blended and mixed up. Which picture?
That 96 to 64 crayon. That's my shit right there. Go ahead.
Oh, I forgot I even had this up here. I was trying to make that point earlier.
Make it though. That's that shit though. Make that.
Well, okay. So this is just real quick on this picture. This is part of a larger presentation, but this picture right here, I had used it to demonstrate how gene pools work, genetic populations work. And so if you start off with 96 crayon colors, and these people are in close proximity to each other, any combination of those colors will be an optional probability of mixture. And so if you take 64 colors, or if you subtract 64 colors out of the 96 and they go somewhere else and never blend back and never reproduce with the population of 96, then only the 64 crayons reproducing among themselves will be able to produce all of those different combinations. And so they will produce two different genetic populations. And so that's and this went along with a whole bunch of other stuff out.
So Wuja, what I'm gonna add to that is, see that 64 box of crayons? If that 64 box of crayons never ever came back in contact with anything out of that 96 box of crayons, then you could potentially have something that could not mate back with that. But during the history of humanity, right, Homo sapiens sapiens, that 64 box crayon met back up with that 96, somebody out of that 96 box of crayons. Simple as that.
What in the hell is happening here?
Yeah, but shit, how long was them? It take thousands though. Cause think about how long the Native American was separated from them.
Not long enough though.
Oh yeah, definitely not long enough. How many thousands of years though since they crossed over that Bering Strait?
They was here for about 15,000 years. Right?
Yeah, they ain't no human populations. I made that point to let you know the human populations always mix back. Yeah, there's not a time where they didn't. So that's why it's so essential to understand that
the Aborigines almost broke off.
Huh?
The Aborigines almost broke off.
Which ones? In
Australia and Tanzania.
You said they almost, huh?
Yeah, it take thousands though. Look,
Tasmania.
Even Neanderthal and damn
them motherfuckers look archaic as I don't know what when they met back up with the.
No, that's because they got archaic human in them.
Yeah.
And you can't say that. If you say that, you got to say West Africans broke off, because we definitely, you know what I'm saying, back at some archaic humans and us, the ghost populations.
What's the
all human beings
DNA?
got archaic humans in them.
What's the DNA the Australians got? I think some of the goddamn
Denisovan.
Denisovan.
Yeah, they got Denisovan, but also it's other types of Denisovan mixes too, like the Papua New Guineans, and also a couple of people in East Asia got Denisovan too, like the people in Tibet.
The Denisovan.
They said the Denisovan itself could have had different variations of that species, could have been different types in different areas.
Like that new one they found, right?
But brother,
yeah.
Hey, I just want to say this. The crayon thing goes along with it. Like I said, several different slides. But I just want to say that. But even Uncle, the way you just described it, it's describing the actual processes or steps of speciation. And so even on this slide I was showing right now from that same set is how that occurs. And so if you have one genetic population of anything, let's say humans, one genetic population of humans, and then one portion of it, a certain number of them get separated, never to mingle back in, eventually over time, they will, because of the mutations through reproduction, generation after generation, the mutations will differ. And so much so over time that it may form another species. So humans not a good example, but animals. And so that's what this slide is representing. From
don't worry, yeah. You mean other animals, because humans are animals.
Yeah.
Demonstrated
with the we talked about it on the
what I meant, I mean that's absolutely right. I mean humans are animals, but what I meant is humans being a bad example, meaning that our rate of reproduction.
Yeah, because we one species.
Yeah, but I was saying that it's a bad example because the rate of reproduction among humans is
you said it's a bad example
low than other animals. I'm saying animals that have thousands of generations.
Like it was like we said,
a month.
Like the mosquito.
You can see that.
It didn't take about 10 months, right?
The mosquito.
Hey, Wiley, you was great. Say something.
The mosquito.
Yeah.
I'm like,
go ahead, speak up.
What I want to say is, brother, you kind of got to really be careful when it comes to like biology, because when did you say that magazine came out? 2018, right?
I'm listening.
Get on his head, Adrian.
You have to be careful because with biology, that whole discipline is constantly changing. Let me give you an example.
It's new.
Let me give you an example. Okay, where did historians and like evolutionary biologists say that the human race came from? What area?
In the beginning?
Yeah, for a very long time. Scientists said for a very, very long time that the human race came from Ethiopia. The oldest.
You gonna bring up the Moroccan dude? The Moroccan dude one from there. They just found him there, man.
But now the oldest remains are found in Jebel Irhoud now, and that's for right now.
Now you just
that's in Morocco. He wasn't from there. He just died there. He wasn't from there.
Yeah, he beat you there. He just got to Jebel Irhoud. But we know with new discovery, you know what I'm saying, information change like
No,
weeks.
get back to the magazine, yo. Why
So
not
I'm
pull
just
up this
saying,
magazine?
with the 218 edition, you kind of gotta, I'm not saying throw that in the trash, but you gotta be
really
in 2021 now.
Oh man.
Damn.
All right, let me
No,
tell
there's
you
nothing.
I agree with him on that.
Yeah,
Oh,
you just
no.
gave it out.
Toilet paper in his hand, huh?
No.
I agree
Listen,
with you, Adrian.
listen.
That
Just
shit
because,
crazy.
just because it's 2000, like the content of that magazine. I mean, science is always improving and finding new information, but the content of that magazine from 2018 till now, nothing pretty much has changed in that magazine. You had to go case by case on that. That's
This
can't just say
is
that.
what actual biologists who have masters and PhDs have told me that I have to do when I'm studying biology. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
I'm
going by
saying,
what the experts say.
yeah, and experts will tell you that you should never make a blanket statement about something that you never read. So the thing is that you have to point out what in that magazine is now obsolete.
I
And I
said
think,
he has to be careful
yeah, right.
with using that.
We agree.
No, but it's not just because of that though. It's like you have to just keep up with like, for example, those two women being twins, there's no amount of anything that's going to change that. I don't care what expert you bring into this conversation, they're not going to all of a sudden not be twins. See how everybody got.
You just speaking to the fact. I think when we do that though, you speaking to the fact.
What's the name said? Let him in.
Wujawu, I get Wujawu the host.
Wujawu let Amir in.
Oh, you got let me know you gave me host, because I ain't
Just
seen
go
you.
admin. You be on his lungs. You know you the late night creeper.
No, I'm not doing that.
12 o'clock. That's the woo
I'm not
hours.
doing that.
Woo hours, yo.
Once it hit
Wait.
12 o'clock, yo, you get the host.
Yeah, Goldie trying to get in. I talked to him early. He trying to get up here.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that you gave me host, but everybody.
Woo hours, yo. You know what time it is, yo.
12 o'clock is Wuja show, yo.
Hey, but listen,
Wally.
don't rely on me. Don't rely on me.
I'm gonna let you slide, yo. Everybody around here know we got up to date, fresh, crispy. Look, don't get me fucking started. Up to date, fresh, crispy magazines, fresh 2021. You know what I'm saying? Crispy journals and nations of the science. We crispy around here.
Hey,
Wait a minute, hold on. Oh, we crispy, yo. We crispy around here, yo. We crispy. All right? We crispy. Crispy.
Color Jack, mute you, Color Jack. Color Jack, mute that.
Don't mute that. You at a party, yo.
He got
VIP section.
Hey, Wally, where you at, Wally?
I just heard all that bottle and
Yeah,
shit.
can you hear me, Wally?
Sure.
You hear what I just said?
You said he having a party.
No, you hear what I just said?
What did you say, sir?
I said, God damn it, look at your screen. I say we crispy. Journal of Nature, Journal of Science. We crispy with genetics around here, bro. We crispy. We got Ngozi in the building. We got, you know what I'm saying, Gullah Geechee. We got Wuja. Look, bro, like I say, read this goddamn magazine.
We jumping right now.
And we got Ancoma Jed. That's one of my favorite.
Look, get it simple first, yo. You ain't ready for this. Right, but
get that magazine out of the screen. That shit pseudo. I
old, bro.
Show that shit.
Hey, 2018 sheriff, that nigga bugging, bro. Like, you tripping? Huh?
That's worse than mine.
I'm getting off this motherfucker, man.
Hey, that magazine worse than Black Athena, yo. Oh no.
Yo, it's crazy, man.
Hey, you still ain't speak to the influence of Egypt.
Where goes he at? Open his line up. Where you at, Gozy?
I'm right here, brother.
Everybody's in. Whoever was in the waiting.
Amir, where you at?
Wait.
I'm right here, brother.
What's up, man? Good to have you, man. Team Osiris, what's up?
Team Osiris, what's happening? I'm a rock squad up. I'm just listening in, man. Listening to y'all go in, brother.
Yeah. Hey, Somebody tell Chief X we got a hurt short, man.
Oh man, we got a moratorium on saying that nigga name. Don't say that nigga name, man.
Yeah, you gotta send $10 to the cash. Yeah, you done messed up.
Y'all taking the debate?
I heard one of the brothers bring up Jabel the Herd, and when it comes to the idea of who, he wasn't from there. He just died there. You know that, right, brother?
Yeah, that's what I told. That's what I just told.
So where are the oldest human remains found then? Are they still in Ethiopia? Because
well, he said South America.
Y'all niggas do though.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah, Jabel Hood was a transitional Homo sapien. He wasn't really a complete Homo sapien. When it comes to modern anatomically correct humans, they were found in East Africa, like Hetero Man 1 and the one that they found, Omo Man 1 and 2. But Jabel Hood, he was more of an archaic Homo sapien. His skull was very similar to the skull they just found last year in Greece that went back 210,000 years. So we have to understand that there was a unsuccessful out of Africa migration from archaic Homo sapiens before our group of Homo sapiens, which was the more modern anatomically correct, had successful out of Africa migration. And those genes, believe it or not, made it easier for the later stratum of Homo sapiens to breed with Neanderthals, because when they looked at the Neanderthals in Altai, their paternal lineages came from modern humans, and it was very similar to that A00 that the Mbuti people have in Cameroon. You get what I'm saying? Because that first population of humans were more closer to Neanderthal and us because it was transitional, primarily via like Jebel Hood that you found in Morocco.
Yeah, it probably would have been also a link to the Lippy Bond culture, which is archaeological culture found out about like the Congo and tropical areas.
Right, the tools that they found, which is very similar to what the possible ghost population was, or that component that exists in most people south of the Sahara. Because even us in Western Central Africa, right, we don't have homogeneous genes like people think, because we have a unique cluster today. I mean, if you're running around here with EM2 is a Paleosaharan marker that got absorbed in the population of Mesolithic West African hunter-gatherers. So even with us, we represent a combined situation. It's not really homogeneous. So that's what's crazy about it.
Can we just break it down a little bit more simpler too?
Yeah, because that genetic stuff, I mean, that's like all over the place.
I got you. Everybody on the panel subscribes to the Alpha, right?
And I want to say too, I don't know who said it last night, but all people from Sudan are not blue black like
who is that talking just now? Who is that?
That's me. That's me. I heard somebody last night on the show. I don't know what
this is. Who is that?
Due diligence.
Who is that?
Due diligence.
It's me.
It's him.
Due diligence.
What the hell is him?
It's me.
Huh?
It's me.
Me?
I done talked to you on a couple of occasions. I broke this down to you before. You know who I am. I done talked to you and Garfield about race before, and mixing up the social constructs with race and culture and all that. We didn't have this conversation. We didn't have this conversation.
But hold on. About us mixing it up?
Just about people in general, not necessarily y'all. We was just having a discussion about it, and I kind of took it up.
Oh yeah, and what you tell me?
So check it out. I'm finna
stop showing that magazine.
I'm finna break it down. You know what I'm saying? So let's follow the out of Africa theory, right?
You said what?
The out of Africa theory. I believe most people on the panel follows the out of Africa theory, correct?
Yeah. Watch this. Go ahead.
So when people go out of Africa and then they settle in different places and then they erect the construct of their nationality, then different people in accordance
nationality.
Yes, their nationality and their culture. That's how people identify to their nationality, culture, religion. So that's
all right. Go ahead. I'm following you.
So whenever you look at it from the present and then you go backwards and say those people are African, yet they didn't even look at themselves as African. So that's one way you get mixed up right there.
Say that again.
What?
Yeah, man.
Say that again, due diligence.
I get what he's trying to say. I get what he's trying to say. So when it comes to nationality and culture, that can change. Culture and nationality is phased. Like if I took you to Ile Ife 3,000 years ago, there was no Yoruba. Yoruba culturally isn't that old. So the actual African, I get what you're trying to say before the whole continent was called Africa. Yes, but we have to deal with what we have today. But hold on. Let me just say this: the nomenclature that they gave the whole continent is Africa. The species that we represent today that hasn't spent enough time to separate from one another to even be a subspecies, because we're not even a subspecies. Because a modern Homo sapiens, whether you're Asian, African, white, or whatever, we haven't spent enough time to be a separate species and not even a subspecies. We're still the same Homo sapiens sapien with 99.9% of the same human genome. Yet and still, I understand what you mean by titles, but humans, as a species that we are today, represent a naked African ape because it comes off the continent of Africa, regardless of where they at and what costumes they wear, calling themselves white, black, all these fairy tales. None of that's relevant ultimately as a species. We haven't even spent enough time separated from one another to even be classified as different subspecies groups. We're also the same species. That's it. Mm-hmm. So I get what you're saying.
But whenever we use the term African, we're not even talking about species. People use it in a way where they talk about culture and practice. Like whenever people go from the present and look to the past, and we say, are those Egyptians in this time African? And yes, you can't really use that term to apply to the past like that when them people didn't even see themselves as that.
Well, in ancient times, continents, the way we see it today, then yes, I agree with you in a sense of Asia and Africa, and the only people that was African in ancient times were the Amazigh and Tunisia. But what I'm saying is that I get what you're trying to say, but you have to look at it. You have to look at it scientifically. You got to look at it scientifically.
Okay, I want to say something next. So let me just say this.
Wait, I want to hear what the guy's trying to say.
I know. But let me hold up. Let me lay out the wait. I just
ABO in the building.
I just want to lay out the quick logic though with what was just being said. Okay, the terms and stuff we have to be mindful, but here's the logic of it. All the animals that we have names for, from the elephant to the lion and stuff like that, none of those animals called themselves by any of those names. But
that's right.
But yet we
goddamn mess, boy.
No, but I'm saying we do it because we're demarcating animals based on a certain criteria. So human beings are the same way. We demarcate different groups of humans.
Yeah, we use these coin terms as like a scaffold to identify like a tool.
Yeah, but I'm saying we can't be naive and say that we can't call a people by a certain name, because then we have to say the same. Then we just got to stop talking about all the animals.
Everything destroyed.
Yeah.
Hey, man, where's the guy? Y'all ran him off the panel. Y'all didn't get to say anything.
No, I mean, Wuja just addressed that.
No due diligence still here.
We gotta have a point of reference, or we ain't gonna never do
what man, listen, I'm trying to let the guy finish saying what he's saying, because if we gotta get him, we get him. If he makes sense, he makes sense. Go ahead, due diligence. Let me hear.
I'm surprised.
I'm gonna give you another example.
No. What you trying to prove though? You dove out of nowhere with it.
I'm gonna give you an example. Just let me go, bro, and then you tell me if I'm.
No, I'm saying what you doing though?
He's singing to the choir, man. He found out something we already know.
Yeah, I'm trying to know what you trying to do though. I mean, what you trying to explain? That's all. Because we seem to be off the conversation. So what are you actually trying to show us, yo? That's all.
That whenever you're looking into the past and you're using these modern terms to describe people of the past, you already starting in a false premise.
So hold on. So what do you suggest we do?
We know.
What should we do? No, what's your suggestion?
Yeah.
What's your suggestion?
Stop it.
My suggestion is to make sure you're using the words for the right context of the period at that time, because whenever you use terms like African, we're looking at it at a modern sense, and it's going to blur the lines. Because people are not African, for one, because African is just people that come off the continent of Africa. But
Hold on, what are you? Hold on, what are you? What are you?
He just said, he just used Africa as a
We're
word.
gonna find this out right now. Hold on, watch this. What are you, brother?
I ain't gonna play with you, man.
Huh?
I ain't gonna play with
you. You who?
So let me give you an example.
No, I'm saying, what do you identify? What do you identify with? You.
I identify as being a man. Culturally, what y'all would call me is an African American, and I use the term here in the present, but that would be correct. But if somebody now let's say, now check this out. Now check this out. Now let's say 1,000 years into the future, somebody dug me up and took my bones. They might think that I'm African. You know what I'm saying? Because my genetics would come back. They wouldn't see me as an African American maybe. You know what I'm talking about? Just looking at the DNA. So you have to follow.
Are you Ados?
Yeah, this sound like Dan Galloway.
No. Hey, Dylan, brother, are you Ados? Ados,
not at all. But can I give you an example? You tell me if I'm correct or not, Ngozi. Take the Aztec, the Mayan, and the Inca. Where are these people now?
In Mexico.
They're still in Mexico. That's a lot of Mayan people still in Mexico.
Yeah. There's a lot of them here in Texas and in Houston. Shit.
What do we call them today in the present? What do we call them today in the present? We call them Latinos. We call them Mexicans. We call them natives. These are those people today. So that's what I'm saying. So
we just said that.
I'm confused, though. I ain't saying
you have to take into consideration migration, species, sex, and conquest and colonization. You have to take all these people change over time. So when we look back and look at certain demographics and certain people,
I'm trying to figure what we doing wrong, though, yo. Is we doing something wrong?
That's what we're doing wrong, bro.
By naming places so we can recognize what different geographical places is, we're doing something wrong by doing that, is what you're saying.
And we got to use the actual terms from those times so we don't mess up with.
Okay, Egyptians, Kemites, shit, is that good?
No, we can't. If we base it off that, we can't use Egyptians because in the dynastic period, they didn't call themselves Egyptian at all.
Nor did they call themselves Kemites.
And
no,
this was the same argument you tried to beat me up with last night.
I wouldn't beat
you.
You
see
up.
how
I was
flawed
trying to
that
explain
is?
the time period.
No,
I
you
ain't
see
beat you
how
up with
flawed that is when he used it, but when you tried to use that on me last night, I was saying the same exact thing.
Oh, I heard that shit. That was crazy.
So what do we call it then?
So this is what I did last night, for the record. I knew what he did. He dove out of nowhere with something. I actually had a slide, and I said, at this time period, they wasn't called Sudanese, is what I said. So I had a slide, and I was trying to make a point. My point was very simple. There wasn't a Sudan, right? Wasn't none of that. That border that was there is a European border. So I was trying to make a very crucial point. So for you to interject Sudanese at that point was wrong. So I hear what he's saying, but I was in context of the conversation because I was trying to teach something. I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know what you were trying to teach.
He's saying. I get what he's saying, but I'm saying, how does it fit right here?
I don't know what you were trying to teach, because if we was having that conversation, we both know that it wasn't named Sudan at that point. I was just pointing to the locale. That's goddamn Sudan. And if it was people living right there, then we would say those people were the Sudanese people. There's people of the Sudan. You said, no, it wasn't called Sudan.
Yeah, it was 8,000 years ago, man.
We're not going down that road again.
We ain't going down that road, but go ahead.
Ridiculous, man.
We listen to you.
I mean, I said it, but you can't follow the conversation, though. That's what it's
I think, family, I think we understand your point. Like, I think before you came on, we done went through the whole, we just went through the whole thing in genetic culture. Like, we just covered that, though.
Yeah, we won't use the name, Joe. We not
but
gonna stop
sometimes,
using the name.
sometimes in terms of conversation, we just use it for like a geographical location so everybody can follow and know what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So we don't get lost in semantics.
How the conversation gets lost though. You know what I mean? Whenever you try to pin down people with modern day concepts, social constructs, and then try to apply it in the past, it's gonna get mixed.
So let me ask you this, due diligence. If we say that modern human beings come out of Africa, you would disagree because the name Africa didn't exist at that time? Then what would you call that geographical place that we call Africa now? What reference name would you give it so we could understand what you're talking about?
Would you call it Ethiopia?
Yeah, shit. What would you call the damn planet? Shit. What would you call the planet? Shit.
Right.
Gaia. We're talking about people. We're not talking about places, but people do describe themselves as places.
Yeah, people name from the place that they come from. What's the issue?
Yeah, so brother, what would you say these Homo sapiens or so-called humans were that developed on that continent? What would you call them? What would you like to say they are from your personal perspective? What would you say they are?
Now, what I would call them is what they would call themselves, but I don't know if we can identify Homo sapiens as having a term for themselves. So when you go that far back before people have like tribal names and stuff like that, then it's just kind of you got to give them something. And like you said, you named them Homo sapiens, so that's what I would call them. But when they first migrated out of Africa, they didn't have no tribal name.
Let me hold on. I think I could just solve this so we could move forward. So let me just ask this question: Is it appropriate to blanket all of present day Kenyans under one name and say they're Kenyans because they are Kenya? Like everybody who lives in Kenya and is a national of Kenya right now, they are. What? Hold up 1 second. So I want to make the question clear. So everybody who's a member of the Kenyan national or state is a Kenyan on a national level. But would it be fair to lump everybody together outside of a nationality conversation? So let's say we're talking about culture or ethnicity and whatnot. Would it be fair to still speak to those people as if we're talking about a national level when we're actually not? So I think that goes to the root of what is trying to be said, as opposed to get caught up on the actual labels themselves. Like for example, Kenya has, like I said earlier, Kikuyu, Maasai, the Luo, and quite a few others that see themselves as distinct. But if we go to the level of nationality or nation, they all consider themselves one as Kenyan. But when you drill down, they're very distinct. So it just depends on where the center of the conversation is, the context. Wherever the conversation is placed, you have to just respect that whatever level that you're on and be consistent. So it doesn't really matter the actual form of the word or the label. It just matters where is the conversation orientated, so we could be consistent and proper. That's all. I think that's the solution.
Do you disagree with that, due diligence, before you expound? Do you disagree with that?
I do not at all, and I want to add to that. Let's think about us as African Americans, right? So we call ourselves African Americans, but in reality, we are Africans that came over here through the transatlantic slave trade and got over here, and through you know the social construct of what they calling us today through law. Nationality, we call ourselves, but in reality, we just Africans that got our ass kicked and drugged over here, but and mixed with European and got raped over here and stuff too. But so it's just hard to keep it whenever you're moving through time like that and dealing with people. It's just hard because you don't know if somebody that came and converted and called themselves something else, or if somebody moved to another continent and now it's just so hard to keep track of people in that sense and try to, like Wujawu said, try to label everybody that when it may not be the case, because people move and mix and have sex and convert, and you identify in so many different ways. Like what I was trying to say about the Aztec, Mayans, and Incas, these people do exist, but they do exist in a different form. Like we exist in a different form as Africans. We African Americans now, but we still consider ourselves Africans. You know what I'm saying? The Mexicans still consider themselves Aztec, but if you look in the books, they Mexicans and stuff like that. So it's just hard to follow.
But they also got a different component now since the damn invasion, though. So I mean,
Right, the conquistadors.
they're not just.
It's the same with us.
Yeah, we all creolized.
Yeah, we all mixed up to a degree. I mean, a lot of African Americans have British and Irish DNA, ranging from 10 to 15%, in some cases 20%.
I got 7% British and Irish DNA.
Hey, that's great, and I'm glad 7 to 25%. So you know what I'm saying. So I mean, that's
what is the Puerto Rican? You know what I'm talking about?
Puerto Rican, that's a nationality.
He represents history. He represents the rich ports. He's a combination between the Spaniard, Mediterranean, or conquistadors, the Taino.
I think they were what, like 25% African American on average, some shit like that.
Which one are we looking at?
The genetics of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a nationality, even though it's part of the United States now. Being a Puerto Rican is like being a Mississippian. It's an American colony now. But
that's what my point is. That's my point. You see how you just gave them like 5 different names. But if you look at
it, we get your point though. But like you said, depending on the nature of the conversation.
What I'm saying,
to get clarity and context, we got to be able to, narrow that shit down, bro. I get what you're saying, though. Like,
I think the real point is just finding out where the orientation of the conversation is and just being consistent. It like not necessarily to label themselves. It's just as long as we're consistent wherever the orientation. If we're talking about a genetic population, then we got to remain there. We can't jump from a genetic population discussion but applying a social construct to it. You see, you gotta just stay in whatever levels that the conversation is about.
That's how it gets convoluted every time.
No, you convoluted the conversation.
All right, so what about Barnes Bernal, man? Influence on Egypt, Ruja? We still didn't give your piece.
Wait, I wasn't here for that. Martin Bernal.
Because we was talking about if it's what it said his book's been ruled as pseudo. I'm saying Chef.
Some of it is
that book out.
Some of Mark Bernal, some of his stuff is pseudo though. It is.
So what about the part with I think Unc was offended and saying he was saying that his comeback, his rebuttal was pretty good.
Well, I mean, if you're asking me just generally, did Greece have an Egyptian influence on them and stuff? I mean, I think everybody agrees that
let's say heavy.
And vice versa.
Heavy.
Vice versa. I mean, the wine in Egypt came from Greece, came from the Minoan population.
Heavy though, which you know what I'm saying, like heavy.
I don't really know what you mean by heavy, but I will just say this, that it's definitely evident, and right now I think it's pretty self-evident that Egypt had an influence on Greece, and even in Greek historian texts, they just have no problem admitting that and talking about that.
I think Martin Bernal states. Yeah, we had read the article that there was the Egyptian a colony over there, Chef. No, Chef's on either Egyptian colony or Phoenician colony, and we read the claim earlier. We were trying to discuss it, but we read the claim earlier. We done got thrown off a little bit.
The Greeks and them people in Egypt had even I'm talking about not when the Macedonians and the Mycenaeans came in, but those Neolithic Europeans in Greece.
The people of Crete, the Minoans.
Yeah, those people had a genetic tie with a lot of Egyptians that came from the Eastern Mediterranean before those systems was established. You know that, right?
Yeah, they even had some of the same lineages.
Yeah, it's weird, but they had genetic ties.
Dope.
So Sosa, I mean, if you talking about cultural influence, I think it's pretty self-evident though.
Yeah.
Like if you had to go, if you had to put a arrow of directionality, you would see less Greek to Egyptian arrow pointing that way versus from Egypt to Greece in terms of what's more apparent if you had to rate the degree of influence that we can detect. That's not to say that it didn't go both ways. I'm just saying in terms of what we could detect.
I get what you're saying. We gonna pull out the John Henry Clark, Marvin Nall, and there do a recap on it, and just see how we look at it now in modern day times. Like, what we agree with, what we disagree with, based on what we know now versus what they had back then.
I think that he told some truth, but some things is outdated. But it is some truth in the book, though. I wouldn't overall just throw it out and say, oh, it's just a completely false. But now there's more up-to-date information now.
Yeah.
But like I showed this yesterday, I think, or some other time. I was walking what's his name? Thunder.
I remember.
Down. I was walking him through a conversation. So I'm not gonna do it now, but this image right here I got on the screen. I'm gonna fast forward to the end of the conversation. This image on the screen.
That's Alexander, right?
It's Ptolemaeus.
Yeah, that's Alexander the Great, ain't it?
No, it's Ptolemaeus, Soter, one of the Ptolemaeus kings. But the point I made the other day, I had walked Thunder down a bunch of pictures that he saw as Egyptians. And when I got to this one, he said this person was an Egyptian as well. And so the point I made was that lookership has its limitations, which are very great. And I said, this is not an Egyptian. In a sense, he was using it. This is Ptolemaeus. So anyway, but I'm saying influence. So when Ptolemy or the Ptolemies period were in Egypt, they sucked up the Egyptian culture. So it's not like even though the Ptolemies were not Egyptian, if we went by genetics or genetic population, but they became or absorbed the Egyptian culture while they were there, so they would be indistinguishable from other Egyptians, even in iconography, as you could see right here.
Yeah, you got a similar dynamic with the 25th dynasty in Egypt too, because like a lot of their art and stuff, they'll look like, you know, saying the typical like Egyptian from the art, but if you study like the actual mummies, or they look like they probably didn't look nothing like how they pictures of.
So to speak to what you just said, this is an example of what you just said. This is Taharka, and Pianki and Taharka and the boys, as they say, when they are in Egypt in iconography, they're indistinguishable from the Egyptians in the artwork. So as you can see here, they don't look any different than all the other Egyptians, just like I showed with Ptolemaeus just now. So that kind of drives the importance of wherever the conversation is orientated, it has to just stay consistent at whatever level that is.
Is that not similar to the point that I was making with the Aztecs, the Mayans, and the Inca, how they got colonized and absorbed into culture, and now they kind of different people? I thought that's kind of along the same line.
We agree with that. That's why we just said, like, keeping the conversation on point. Where's that? Like, we didn't disagree with that, bro. Like, we understood. Yeah, there was no disagreement there.
So what's the elephant? What's the elephant? Did anybody ever actually say what the elephant was?
That was Chef Unk title when I jumped in. I don't know. I think it was based on the prior argument they was having.
Oh.
I don't know
what it is. If I shift the conversation a little bit.
It's addressing
the elephant in the room. I'm gonna tell you what the elephant in the room is. Bomb. Misinformation. Zabio. What up with it, Sosa?
Go ahead.
No, that's what it is. It's just lies and misinformation.
Oh, Unk and Sheffrin rolled out. Nah, they left me. Hey, listen, King Sosa. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely gonna pass you the baton, boy.
I know this. Where Jed at? I know Jed got something to say.
Bless. Ole, and me good?
Yeah.
What up with it, Jed?
I did cool.
That's really what it is, though.
tune in later, try to hear what they're saying, you know. One thing I would want to find out from the brother Wujahu before I know if you're making a move or what. I see you sharing images as part of your display picture now. It's how you really doing now.
Oh yeah, I got my camera. That's why I don't have my camera on for a long time. I use my camera as a built-in slide thing, so I could show whatever I want as my camera itself. So I don't have to share my screen. So if people got share screen deactivated, it don't even matter to me. Because
so I want you talking, you use your point sharing one time.
Yeah. So everything is all in one. Yeah, that's it.
That's what everybody should be able to share though.
Yeah, I think you changed it up. But this I'm used to this the way I do it now. So.
Hey, Ngozi, was that you and Unc and I believe Jonathan? Y'all was talking about like the concept of numbers, and I believe that Asar was trying to explain to you guys. Was that you? Was that you, Ngozi?
I don't remember. It had to be an old bill years ago. But what was the topic about?
Well, he was trying to explain to I know for sure it was Jonathan and
Smash.
Right. But he was trying to explain that numbers only exist in the abstract, only in your mind. And they're not real outside of your mind, but we can use them.
Yeah, that was an old Amon Squad show. That was years ago when he said, he was talking about how numbers was abstracts. Yeah, that was me, Smash, and I think Wuja was on that too. You probably don't remember Wuja. That was years ago.
All those videos are lost in the black hole of YouTube land. That channel.
My question is, do you still do you agree? Do you agree with that, or do you believe that numbers is real in the sense that they live outside of us? Like there's something outside of us that like numbers are man-made, or is it something that's outside of us that just?
I mean, reality to me is subjective, man. I mean, of course, it's an abstract. I mean, based off your measurement and how you observe it and how you see it, and the idea of numbers calculating it or counting it out. Of course, it exists is abstraction, but again, we need labels to understand reality. Symbolic thought is what drives humans. This is part of us of what makes us what we are. So I mean, we need labels in order to pinpoint things, in order to deal with everything around us. How could you pinpoint things or have an idea how things work if you can't measure it or give a nomenclature to it or a label?
Do numbers exist in the real world? I ask it a different way. Like, do numbers exist outside of ourselves?
What you
grab
mean?
A number.
It have quantities.
Can you grab a number? Can you grab the number 7?
Right.
Hold the number 7.
No, unless you're on Sesame Street or something.
They definitely was arguing against it, though. They definitely was arguing against it, like that you could, just because you can.
I don't think I'll argue against that. I know to remember that show. I think when Asar said it, I'm sure I would agree. Most of us agree with Asar when he said that, because Smash was saying one thing. It was actually Smash and Asar. I remember now. They was going back, but they both was right. Smash was saying something in a different way, and Asar was saying something in a different way, but they both was right.
I'm asking. It's a different position now, but I was just wondering. We can move on. We can talk about something else. I was just wondering how you would how you see it now. That's all.
The field of mathematics is a field what are also being kind of Europeanized, whitewashed,
Did man create numbers, or do they exist? Because whenever you deal with the field of mathematics, some people say, even whenever you deal with like the theory of numbers, like they feel like numbers is embedded in things, and they're not sure if man created them or like it came from somewhere else. Like I believe that they man-made, but like some of the smartest scientists don't believe so.
Well, I don't know if you're misunderstanding what you're trying to ask, because if you're asking if
so how can a number not be man-made?
But hold on, wait. So I'm gonna say this. I'm just the only thing I'm gonna say to this topic because this is a topic. This is a show in and of itself. We got to make a distinction between the numerical characters that we draw and label out versus the concept of something being next to something else or in addition to and so on and so forth.
Yeah, like or measurement to whatever.
So I mean, you got to make that distinction because the character number one, these Arab numerals that we use as far as script wise, the characters that we draw and write, they're different than the actual reality behind it. Like I always say this as an example, the very word elephant, ELEPHANT, the word elephant is not the elephant itself. So the numeral character one is not the one itself. So you gotta remember that the concept. So all the characters are man-made, obviously, but the concept behind it, the reality behind that, is actually just reflection of what is observed in the universe itself. Period.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking right there. That's what I'm asking right there with y'all.
They had simple numbers initially, and then they end up having complex numbers. They have things called imaginary numbers. It's abstractions. What helping you to deal with reality, to explain reality.
All right.
But physical quantities do exist in reality. You understand? But the numbers is just a symbol to describe what it is you're trying to talk about.
Quantification itself is a phenomena of translation. So when you quantify anything, you're actually performing the process of translation.
I'm trying to figure out like the exact argument that they was making.
It's your show, so
because like
down,
since everything can be described in numbers,
it's your show. So when you're done, you can wrap it up. I'm gonna jump in the chat. I'm gonna jump in the chat.
Oh man, listen, hold up. Who? Because I'm about to roll, and I don't want to just cut it abruptly. Because if everybody still got a good conversation going, who can I pass this to? Who? Sheffrin left.
Yeah, you're the only one.
Everybody rolling out now. Nobody wants the baton. Jolanda, yeah, I'm gonna pass it to Jolanda.
Juju ain't on. Juju been in the chat in the thing for a minute. She popped in. And she had a club.
Sorry about that, Jolanda.
You're gonna give me the torch.
Juju had a club, so.
Jolanda, I'm about to make you host.
No, you can make Sosa host.
Sosa,
or you can wrap it up, or we can look peace and love.
All right, let's wrap it up.
I might fall asleep. I have to be to work in a few hours.
All right, so let's wrap it up,
y'all.
Because I'm not gonna stay, and I don't want to just cut it. So everybody just give a close.
Beautiful nightmares.
Yeah, man, shoot, I'm already. I would tell her what your channel is, man. Where to share and subscribe to, bro. You know what I'm saying? The whole nine, man. Peace and love. If you ain't subscribed to the show, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button on the way out, man. Run me them likes. And then Awuja, tell them where you at, man, and your group, your YouTube page or whatnot.
Oh well, everybody can find me on Seshu Mani Metal Nature YouTube channel. Find me on Facebook under the same name, and that's pretty much it. You know.
And I'm gonna say that don't let them take us down rabbit holes. That was down a rabbit hole we didn't need to go down.
Some people live for that rabbit hole. They camp out in there. All right, so because I'm rolling out. I didn't want to just be rude and just clip it. So if Adrian, you got anything?
Cut that shit off.
I just want to say, like, you know, this is like my first time on a major platform. I really enjoyed myself, you know, talking to like Ngozi, all of you, because I've been huge fans of y'all for like years, and yeah, I wish I would have had something more to add to keep the, you know, bill going, but you know, everybody is kind of devoid of energy. But I've really enjoyed myself. Y'all gonna see me again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm gonna give you just a suggestion, is that when you watch any video on YouTube along these lines, watch it with either a notepad open on your computer or actual physical notepad, and just anything that comes across your mind of a question or something you want to revisit or even share, write it. So then when you hop on these platforms, you could fire away. You know what I'm saying? You have something to fire up, strike up conversations and stuff. That's just my suggestion.
Yeah, I got to come a little bit more prepared. I mean, a little bit more ready and stuff for next time. I saved myself using, sources, but y'all didn't beat up on me,
No, but that's why I made my
It's a learning experience.
So you can have something.
I had to go through the fire. They're gonna put you through the fire.
Yeah. We got to talk about that John Henrik Clarke, Mary Lefkowitz debate though. We got to get that, we got to get that cracking.
I think the real yeah. Uncle Coma.
Yeah, man. Well, I ended up tuning in late to all the discussion today, so I didn't really get it fully, But give thanks again. Respect these pseudo killers, and bless it.
Well, I'm gonna shut it down. I want to leave and say, make sure everyone stay safe. Make informed decisions when it comes to the current events dealing with the virus, the pandemic.
Get vaccinated, people.
Mask up.
Yeah,
Mask up. Social distance. Wash your hands.
Listen, yeah. I mean, people need to just educate themselves. Really,
live for the next person.
For real. Just get informed. That's I deal with this subject every day. In my other duties. So I'm telling you, it's crazy out there. I'm talking about the way people think about it. I hear so much. Anyway, all right. So peace to everybody, and see y'all next time, man.